Folks, we're back.
Oh, are we going?
Yep, we're here.
We're here.
Here to blow shit up.
Yo, 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 let's blow stuff up.
Oh, you stole it from us.
Stole it from me.
Yep, I did. He wasn't
it's
ready.
Okay. I love that I've said it enough that it's like caught on where you're like...
We're here to blow shit up.
Here to blow shit up.
Folks, welcome back to the Producer Lounge. It's TPL 218, folks. If you're new to the show, we're going to talk about music production. What's up, Azrek in the chat? I see you. Yeah, so we're not going to be interviewing anyone. We're only going to be interviewing their signal chain, basically.
We're going to be interviewing your signal chain.
Yeah, exactly. Folks, we have two special guests for you today. Unfortunately, Deals Beats had a family emergency, and we wish him good luck on his flight, and we hope that everyone's okay. But today we have Copycatt. And his homeboy, Extra Dollop, came through. Let's go.
Literally last second, we hit you up like 10 minutes before 7:30. You guys were just like, yeah, fuck it.
It's actually funny. I don't feel like I'm close to anything in this particular suburb except you guys. So it's the most convenient thing. Like, oh, the one thing to do around here is happening right now. Let's go.
Well, I thought about maybe going down by your street and just, Andre! Andre!
Where are you?
Just a drive-by.
Yeah.
Right.
Slowly.
Follow the snares.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Great to have you guys on this wonderful Tuesday.
It's a beautiful Tuesday.
So how's everyone's life been in the DAW as of late?
Golly. What have I been doing lately? I've just been making lots of sounds because I do a Patreon now where I do a monthly sample pack. Yeah, shout out Patreon. Actually paying the bills. It's popping. It's good.
Let's
go. It's nice. I recommend it for anyone
sick.
who's making copious amounts of sounds for no reason.
We have one as well, folks.
Yeah.
Check it out, everybody.
Shout out. But yeah, lots of noises, lots of distorted stuff. And
yeah, it's the best spot to put those because it's like, here's just a sample pack a month, and if anybody has questions, it's really easy to see there and stuff like that, which is great.
Yeah, totally. And it's not, I expected it to be a really like kind of laborsome thing where you got to like really plan your content, but I think a lot of people just like to engage with whatever you're thinking about, or like, you know, just use whatever sounds you're using. So I find when I do videos, like I'll just wake up in the morning and be like, I've been thinking about this thing a lot. I should just do a video, and I'll just sit down and rant for 20 minutes and then chop it up, put it up there, and then, it's good. It's good for nerds.
Yeah,
great platform for nerds.
Especially like when it's an artist someone looks up to. It's just fun to see them just rant, or just like music philosophy, or like here's this one dumb little trick I've been spamming in every song the past like 3 months or something. Like it's fun to just get a little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, it's kind of just content. If anything, it's like the new form of entertainment. I feel like I was just spieling to you about this today. You're just hearing my rant again.
Yeah.
Right, but it is because it costs no money to you, and you don't really have to promote it if you don't want to. Like you can just be like, you can find the Patreon if you want, whatever, don't care.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like it's not a social media thing.
You don't have to hustle with it at all.
I've been spamming Shield's Patreon
his
drums. The airwaves.
Dude, it's so goated.
Yeah.
His drums are
sample
so
packs.
sick.
Yeah, like the perk packs are like 60 samples deep, and they're all just the sauciest things you've ever heard. You're like, what? And you just do this in your basement all day with like his buckets of just different auxiliary percussion and shit. It's so good.
I've been requesting a Patreon from him for multiple years before he started doing it.
You succeeded.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I did, he was like, oh yeah, I'm working on it. Like multiple years later, he's like, all right, I'm finally doing it.
Yeah. I mean, that is often, I feel like, what pushes people over the edge. That's what it was for me. Like, I just had one or two people being like, yo, have you got a Patreon? I was like, nah. I was like tentative about it because I didn't want the commitment. I was afraid that I was going to be like, yeah, subscribe and you get all this stuff every month. And then after 3 months, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
But then people just harassing me, like, it was not many people. It was only like a couple, but just being like, yo, I would love just a tutorial on this. Or I'd do a lesson and someone would ask me the same question that everyone asked me when I do a lesson. And I was like, maybe I should just put up what I'm already doing And yeah, all it takes is a couple people to just like prod you enough, and then you're doing it, and then it's a rhythm. So you probably helped the community push and shield into it. I know I got a sample pack of him, and I was like, damn, he knows how to process,
dude.
So good.
Yeah,
So good. I've been spamming that shit.
Yeah.
Instant swag.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, they're insane.
It's kind of wild how long it took for the Patreon of like our kind of scenes to catch on. Because I feel like it was a lot of like heavy hitters at first. Like I remember Cohen Sound, I think was like earlier on with the Patreon game. And then I saw other people doing it. And then now it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's just weird that everyone
That
was
it took
kind of
this
just like,
long?
that it took this long to
yeah.
just get to this point where
That's
like
fair.
finally everyone has one more or less.
Yeah, it's
and maybe
basically-
people are thinking
Yeah.
about it like your perspective where you're like, nah, like maybe no one really cares. Like there's not enough demand until there is demand where you get, you know, like 20 people who are like, why don't you have a Patreon, dog? Like, come on.
Right.
So,
Like,
yeah.
when you're making a sample pack, do you find yourself just like digging out stuff you've already made and like packaging it up, or do you kind of just like,
I do that a lot for sure.
yeah,
Yeah. For me, I feel like the first few sample packs it was like that, and then I mean, just this month because I was away for a bit, I just thought like, well, it like sometimes what I'll do, I'll like set out to make a sample pack and just go through my samples, and I'll just like click on a bunch of sounds and put them in the project, and then just close it. Like I don't know, I feel like I'm just like a victim to my own like impulse here. But like this month I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna like live stream it. This is what I did yesterday.
Yeah.
I just jumped on stream and I was like, everyone just come on, make
Oh,
a
I missed it.
request.
Fuck.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's go.
I'm terrible promoting it. I just like was
No,
like,
it's
I'm
not
on in
your
10
fault.
minutes, and everyone was like, oh.
I jumped in enough to be like, "What's up?" And then I was busy.
Yeah. I mean, that's I think that's
Is what
just
it is.
the nature of it. I'm just
Yeah.
doing everything super last minute, which is fine. I don't mind.
Yeah, who
and
cares?
the VOD thing is really nice. Like that Twitch just saves
Right.
stream.
True.
So
Yeah.
it's just like holding.
Yeah,
back
they
that
did
for
Started
like 10
pulling that
minutes.
down because was
Let
it
it
because
out.
of him? Which was it a copycat?
I think it
episode?
was the Copycat episode. So we used to have our VODs up on Twitch for everyone to watch afterwards, and then this guy, he clipped our whole episode with you.
Oh, he
And
like
he put it
downloaded
on his channel, and it got
On
like
YouTube.
hundreds of thousands of views.
Wait, was this?
Not hundreds of thousands.
I'm pretty sure it got into the hundreds.
Probably like a couple thousand.
I think it was just like a couple thousand.
yeah, it
We can
was?
look it
Oh,
up right
okay.
now. It was
Okay.
Jose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it. That's
Yeah,
crazy
which-
that he found.
He's
'cause
the
he-
best.
He's.
I
yeah.
watch his shit all the time, so I'm not hating at all. It's kind of a compliment. But
Yeah.
it's like, oh fuck, we gotta take those down. I can't have people fucking sneaking our views. Like, the
Yeah.
fuck is this?
Yeah.
And
He's,
it wouldn't have mattered as much, but like that episode wasn't even out on our YouTube channel
Yeah, it
yet, so we
wasn't
were
out
like,
yet.
oh well,
Yeah.
but whatever. Yeah, it was on
problem.
Jose's channel, so I was like, guys, we made it.
Yeah, we
We're on
made it.
Jose's channel. Like,
He's like the internet archive of producer streams.
Yes,
Yeah.
Like,
he
you ever
is.
use Internet Archive for anything, and it's just
Oh, yeah.
you're looking
Oh,
at
yeah.
something, you're like, maybe it's on Internet Archive.
Back
like,
in the day,
That's Jose for producer streams. So
That's funny.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny that he got onto that one as well.
shout out Jose. We love you, Jose.
Shout out Jose.
Exactly.
Doing the Lord's work.
Also,
Just a little too
legend.
quickly.
Same with do you guys know Shake and Bake by chance?
oh, don't.
He's just a guy who goes to like every single Tipper event the past 10 years and records the whole set and uploads
hilarious.
it to YouTube. Which like, yeah, like all of that scene
What a
hates,
testament.
but like, yeah,
Just
I
sitting
love
there.
him because I get to see like every set. Like, oh,
Yeah.
new unreleased Tipper, like blah, 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 but
And it's like phone. It's like horrible quality audio.
Yeah, it's a microphone.
yeah, it's not the greatest. It's not the worst.
But you're getting the gist. Like if you're a producer and you're just trying to get the sauce of like
Exactly.
what the whips or the IDs are,
Yeah.
I could see it being.
You just want to relive something that you were already there for, kind of thing.
Well, there's that, or if you're not there, but you just want to dig it for what's saucy, and you
Yeah.
and you know you need to do like some house chores, you just throw it on,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you're just like, oh wait, what's this track? Like, oh, that's a good riff, and you just
Yeah.
like you're like, I'm gonna keep that in mind.
I don't know if anybody else went to the Skrillex. I didn't go to Skrillex at Red Rocks recently.
No,
I
I missed
wanted
it.
to.
Yeah, I wanted to too.
also. Yeah.
Yeah, once again broke.
Shout out, Sonny.
Yeah.
But I started watching he put the whole setup
Yeah.
online, but it's literally a camera like just to the side of him,
It's so
and he's
steezy.
in the middle of the stands, like
Yeah, the best spot.
playing in the middle of the stands. So
Oh, did they
it's
do the
just like an
360 thing?
echo
Yeah.
sound?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so
yeah. The
you're
sound
hearing
is
the speaker.
echoing
the sound is horrible.
terrible. It's so bad.
Doing it for the culture.
I feel like he did it on purpose. He's like, no.
Oh, this sounds
Yeah,
terrible.
this is gonna sound like a
Believe it.
shitty YouTube upload. That's sick.
It's like 2007
Don't you
again.
wish you were actually here and could have heard this?
Yeah, exactly. Which I love. Like I kind of like that. Like I like the idea of occasionally you throw up a set and it's like really produced and it looks nice. You got the audio out of the decks, so it's all
Yeah.
nice. Like there's maybe some crowd noise, but I also like the Steez. It's a YouTube video of Justice. They're playing at I Love Techno in 2006. And it's like a shitty digital camera that's sitting on the decks. It's just shaking the whole time. But I watch the thing like every year because it juices me so hard.
Yeah.
Because they're just chain smoking the whole time, just fucking DJing nonstop for like 3 hours. And the audio is horrible. But I'm like, man, I wish I was there. It looks like so much fun. It looks so sick.
Sometimes the
It's
like
good.
shitty Instagram story video sounds better than an upload. Like I feel like I've had that with some demos. Like
Would
where
it
I've
go
like
harder?
taken a video of a demo, and then they release the full thing, and I'm like, actually, I think my phone recording made that sound cooler than it was.
Actually clipped in a nice way.
Yeah, you get the room echo and shit. Like
Exactly.
the less detailed, the sicker it sounds.
John used to always say that. Why does it always sound better on my phone?
Yeah.
Because you have a good mix, probably.
Yeah. This is John Restraint. When you
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
shout out John.
yeah,
Sorry,
sure,
it was in the
Restraint.
comments there.
I know. He says you're
Sup,
in the
John?
referee seat.
Yeah,
which he
I
was
feel like,
in
am I like about to
last
like, kind
You
of
must be so jealous of your microphone right now.
Right.
Yeah, because I
You
get to hold
didn't
it.
have one when you
Oh,
were sitting
shit.
there.
Yeah, he was
He
there
didn't earn one.
on Thursday or Friday last week, and yeah, he didn't get one.
You gotta earn it, John.
Yeah, sorry. You have to be more established.
You got to have more monthlies on Spotify, so you get it.
You gotta have a Patreon.
I mean, for
There are rules.
real,
the
John
second
could start.
microphone.
John could start a Patreon, and people would join for sure.
He 100% could.
Easily.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Easily. There's so many people who are like, "Oh my God, Restraint, oh, the walk," and like he has like 3 songs released.
John's doing the same thing that Shields did, though, where he's like, I
Kinda.
have to plan it for 4 years
Yeah.
in advance
Yeah.
and like
Right.
calculate all the.
Exactly.
I mean, to be
Just,
fair,
just do it, John.
Yeah, I like it.
John has like a crazy day job, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's also like hustling. So
Yeah.
Yeah, he
get
works
it.
a 19-hour day.
Don't really need
Yep.
to add more to that.
6 days a week.
He makes
27
hella
hours a day.
racks, though. I don't know. He makes hella racks. Like he's
is a rack
finding
boy.
the time to produce that. I think if you just uploaded the racks, I'm speaking directly to
Racks
you, John.
alone,
Upload
John.
your racks.
Maybe.
We want to see you rack, bro.
Just
I want to see a
Restraint
rack.
Racks
Yeah.
Patreon.
For real.
All that there is just
Yeah.
random racks. That'd be pretty sick.
How often do you guys use racks? Are you guys like huge on racks? You two over there?
Are you a rack guy? I feel like
I'm
you're
like-
a
Big
you're a
rack guy or a
bespoke.
small rack guy.
Yeah, you're like big racks, you're like small racks. Like all racks are good.
It's all about the macros.
I feel
That's like a
like
really obscure.
I'm like I'll save a rack and then I'll never use it,
Amen,
and like
brother.
they're never like refined or anything. I'm always like spinning a new one up from scratch.
Same. Okay, cool. Okay, I don't.
Yeah,
Because I felt bad for years because everyone's like, "Oh, I have these racks that I just put on everything and it makes it immediately good," and I'm like, "Really? I do that like I just build a new thing as I need it. Like it's really bespoke every time." But I
Yeah.
don't know. I felt weird.
yeah, I'm in the same boat. I feel like
having like time saving tools is definitely like the way to go. Like dragging and dropping stuff on, but at the same time, you can overcook it and like
Yeah.
I don't know, like become complacent with whatever your default signal chain is.
Totally.
So if you
Totally.
if
I
you
like
template too hard, you end
Yeah.
up just making the same song every time.
I'm gonna write down rack dangers.
rack danger.
Dude, that's so true. I think I've heard fucking Nolan talk about that a bunch,
Oh,
where he's
sure.
like, he doesn't even have a template, and he's like, I build the sidechain every time, I do everything.
I've thought about that too.
I don't have like a set level, like my drums are always at -6 or blah blah. He's just like, fuck it, do it different every time
Well,
because it
for
gives
sure
it like
that.
a unique approach.
Yeah, interesting.
I
yeah.
kind of like that. I think I'm starting to get to that point where like I have my template and I have like my
I'm
3
married
racks
to my
that I use all
template.
the
How
time.
heavy
Yeah.
is the template? How heavy is your template?
Oh, so like, okay, so for forever I had no template, like
Yep.
strictly from scratch, purist every
Love it,
time.
love it.
And then I just got to it, like, I'm just too much of a perfectionist. I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. I need to speed up my workflow.
Yeah, a little
So
bit.
I'm like, all right, So then I started this process of like, whenever I finish a track and I'm happy with the sound of it, I would save a template version of it, delete all the content. And then I've basically, next time I start a track, I'm starting with the same structure of the last track.
That's kind of cool.
So that way I can kind of just jam and have something that sounds like good and in the right ballpark, like really fast. So I don't have to tweak as much.
Right.
That's fucking sick. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that.
You can kind of evolve
How did
it.
you have the most interesting answer possible?
Yeah, that was really good.
But yeah, I've done that, and I don't know, like, but like, yeah, the downside of that is if it's too high latency, then it sucks. Like jamming is
Yeah.
you can't jam if it's like 1 second in between pressing the button and
Yeah, if
audio
you're a
linear
jammer.
phase and shit.
Are you a jammer?
No, so I can't really play anything. No, I'm an engineer for sure.
Okay, sick.
Yeah. Same. I mean, I'm a jammer if I'm on an instrument. The moment I'm behind like some speakers, complete engineer. Like I don't want to jam at all. Like I'll maybe like sit there and like make a riff, but then I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna plug it in. I'm not gonna like record. Let me like record me playing this MIDI. Like I can't do that. It
No,
drives me
I'm
nuts.
useless.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be one of those guys who could just like, oh yeah, let me just sesh on the sound for a sec, but I can't do it. Either.
Then you have to dig through the
I can't like
sesh,
remember
which is
the
annoying.
scales either, so I have to like think about the scale, and I'm like, wait.
Well,
is
there's
it this
that.
one or, like
It's a lot easier if you
You only need one.
separate
really.
it.
A minor, all white keys.
Whoa.
Boom.
Boom. A
Yeah, that's the
minor,
thing.
all white keys, transpose.
Yeah,
up
that's every
by
key.
Yeah, right.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
You can make any scale.
That's what I do. I do
All
E
white
minor,
keys. Yeah.
but like that's what I do. If I can just play an A minor and I pitch it down if I'm in the wrong key,
Yeah.
whatever.
I just learn it. I don't do that at all. I'm like, oh, it's these. I gotta know what these notes
Yeah,
are.
I
It's
thought- yeah.
this. Okay, and now I'm gonna sit here and jam. And I just, I don't know. I can't move it all to
Respect,
white keys.
respect.
It's weird for me. It's an extra step. I don't.
There's
Yeah,
a black.
I'm
There's
just
a
gonna
black.
figure it out.
There's a black in E minor.
There are some blacks. You're right.
The F sharp.
One black. The token.
Yeah, wait. We are in Denver.
Jesus, guys.
What? It's like we're talking about a keyboard. Why you got to bring it
Are
into? Yeah.
Yeah, don't make it weird, bro. Don't make it weird.
I just set up some drum pads, a little cymbal, and a kick and a hi-hat control. Just like electronic drums above my
nice.
keyboard.
It's
so
saucy.
I can just turn and play the drums if I want to.
It's
That's pretty
sauce.
sick.
I haven't got it like use it because I just set it up and then I did one like test run of like what happens if I do a little thing.
It was like
But,
4 days ago.
Yeah, I just set it up. I bought the drum set like a couple years ago, but I just couldn't find the workflow. And then at some point, I'm like, oh, I could just rearrange them in a way that makes them very easy to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't actually heard of that before, like just having a little like drum. When you say drum, you mean like electronic,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
the actual drum pieces.
Yeah,
That's
there's
baller.
just a cymbal, two things. So I have a snare and a tom, low tom, and then kick and the hi-hat little guy under
That's
my
awesome.
feet at the keyboard.
That's
and
sick.
then the keyboard's right there as well. So I was like, ooh, let me try and like make like a really quick thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
The band corner.
load a drum kit up as fast as I fucking can, and then pull a little keyboard sound, and then do a beat.
So
If I play at 140 and then speed it up to 170, whatever, it's nice. I can make like fucking D and B beats really
Right.
easy.
You can get all the
Breaks
off snares and shit.
Yeah,
That's sick.
I'm curious if it will turn into something cool or if I'll just ignore it.
Well, it's especially.
You got
Well, it's nice because like it's not like you're trying to jam a whole drum kit in the corner.
No.
It's just like I just need a couple things to hit with sticks to get some MIDI. Like you
Yeah.
just need a thing to like ba da da ba 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 ba, or and
Yeah.
like you just need to grab it for a minute, which you can do on like a keyboard if you want. But if you're a drummer like you and me, like it's nice to have a stick in your fucking hand to be able to like actually get some velocities and stuff like that.
Totally.
Like it's super nice.
And you can always overdub, I guess, which is like you're not
Right.
depending on you just
Right.
playing the whole groove
No.
in one take. Like you can
Yeah.
just quickly do the hi hat. So like just
Totally.
yeah. I imagine that's quicker.
I'm thinking about making a bunch of MIDI, just like loops that people could grab.
I would love those.
Posting them to the Patreon.
Yeah.
Because
That's fun.
Yeah, if you just like had like a stack of fucking beats
especially
in MIDI that have like velocity attached to them and
but
swing
just keep them
and
really
swing.
sloppy and off time so you can't even like use the loop in your song. So it would be like the kick is like so far behind. Snare's way too early.
And you just label it like Dilla style or something like that.
Hilarious. We like to have fun here, guys.
Okay, so I'm actually
What up, Cardwell?
I'm pumped you came here tonight because there's this technique I learned from John, who learned from you at your Sunday school, and I've wanted to talk about it on the pod, but I was like, I can't. It's
Why?
an Andre thing because I want to just wait till
till he was on.
Came back and
It's very respectful of you.
There we go.
I think.
I got you. It's the concept of like doing the filter transient.
Filter transient. Explain.
Oh, was this
I
to do
wanna
with
hear this.
making kicks specifically, or
I think it was for basses.
filter transient? Oh, I'm trying to think because I talked about I literally did like a speed run of like a majority of the sound design stuff
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
using.
Explain
so
the
there's-
general concept
General concept.
from your
General
eyes.
concept.
Yeah.
So the way John described it to me was essentially you're using the pitch drift of a filter at a really fast speed, like just going down the full spectrum and coming back up, just to create like a little plug. The similar way like people do like the pitch envelope on their basses, where they just have a really quick pitch. You're doing that with like a filter.
Back
right?
down and
And
up
it was for basses.
from
Or
20K.
maybe. I just
Oh
assumed
yeah! Oh no,
it
for
was,
subs.
but-
Yep, I know what you're talking
For
about.
subs.
Actually, it's funny that John explained this to you, and he said he got it from me because I got it from a guy who got it from Leatrix.
Jesus Christ.
He
Holy
did say
telephone.
that you got it from someone else.
Yeah, so I thought it was really sick. So Leatrix is like an Australian like future rhythm producer, I guess. Shout out Australia.
Is he on? Is he on the,
Damn, it's an
he's on
Australian
Disciple,
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's what?
He's on Disciple.
Yes,
Is he one
he's
of the
done
Disciple
Disciple
guys? Yeah.
releases. He's kind of branched out a lot because his Disciple stuff was very like rhythm. And I'm not going to get into the history of Leatrix, but
Please do.
he is really sick. I'm hype about his stuff, but this technique that I had explained to me, like for subs, what he does is he uses a triangle wave in operator. And then just filters it to the spot where it just sounds like a sub. So it's just kind of taking off a few of those like top end harmonics. And then to give the sub this like kind of pitch stab, like this woo kind of thing, he's using the filter envelope going negative, so he gets the filter where he wants it in terms of like just sculpting it into a sub, and then the envelope is for like 10 to 20 milliseconds stabbing downward as low as it can go and back up, and what that does, because of the phase shift of the filter, it like
I
wiggles
see.
the bass, and so you hear this like at the beginning, and it sounds really tight, and you're not changing the pitch of the bass at all.
Right.
So yeah, I can't
Is
take
there, a
credit
bunch
for that.
is there a bunch of resonance on the filter?
No, it's pretty
No,
minimal.
okay.
It's enough. I mean, like
Because I
obviously
feel
when
like
you're
you could
sculpting
tweak
this
it
up,
with some resonance. Like you could sit there
Totally.
and make it more of a pitch drift or less if you wanted to.
yeah,
Okay.
like the more resonance, the more like phase shifting I guess you're
Right.
gonna get. But I mean, in this case, it was just enough that I use a bit of resonance just to kind of just boost some of those upper harmonics in terms of where I want the filter to sit
Start.
for the
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, okay.
And then that I just leave it where it is, and then that little bit of envelope stab, it just comes out how it comes out. I don't try to like fuss too much over the resonance, and then the only thing I might change is just the length of the envelope itself, because that's gonna I guess
Like the
change how it
decay
feels.
or the
Yeah.
attack and decay, I guess, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, is it enveloping from down up to where you want it to be in terms of like from 20 to 80 hertz and then back down, or is it starting at 80 hertz, going down to 20 hertz and back up?
Second one, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
I think it's like, because I usually just do it by ear, but I'm pretty sure I just leave the attack at 0. Like it doesn't like
really?
it's not
Right,
actually
okay,
going
just
down quickly. It's just
immediate
basically
down.
so I guess you could move the initial point to the bottom, but
I see.
I haven't really
Right,
thought too hard
right.
about it.
I
It's
see
so
what you mean.
quick that you just hear the little boop, and that's like good enough.
Okay,
but
interesting.
So it's
I
not
will
like a
play with
laser. It's not like a laser pew pew sound. It's just like a bass like pop at the start.
yeah, you're just
Right.
hearing
Yeah,
that
it's
phase
a
shift.
little bit of a
Okay.
yeah, a little
That sub-transient.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a sub-transient. That's exactly it.
I remember I
crazy.
was so pumped on the concept because like that's just a fun like creative move. Like I've never I don't know. That's just
Yeah.
that's the kind of shit
mean,
that gets me like bricked up in the studio where I'm like, you know, you're just like, I never thought about that.
Quickly.
So cool.
He said the thing.
He said the thing.
I mean, it is like the engineer head. Like it's the difference between the jam head and the engineer head, where it's
Yeah.
like the engineer is sitting here twiddling with just the tools we have to sit here and try and add little bits of sauce. Where like if you're a saxophonist, you're like, well, yeah, I'll just play the note and squeeze the embouchure, and it'll
Yeah.
slightly move the note. But as an engineer, you have to sit there and like, well, what can I do to do that? Like, oh, here's a couple fun ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which it all results in different applications,
Yeah.
which is sick.
Yeah, I feel like there is a jam element to the producer
For sure,
mindset,
for
but
sure.
you're just not limited in the time domain.
Exactly,
I think that's
exactly.
the difference. Is
Right.
like if
Yeah.
you're an instrumentalist, you're kind of like you're jamming and you're committed because the time domain is fixed. Whereas like as a producer, like you are jamming in your head, like you're just thinking of shit as you go and being like, oh, if I want to do this thing, how can I do this? Or if I just move this, how does that sound? But because you've kind of got infinity time
It's
to do it.
fourth
Yeah.
dimensional as opposed to
Yeah.
third dimensional.
Yeah.
Dude, we're jamming in the fourth dimension as
Yeah.
producers.
Dude, I've been jamming on this song for 4 years, bro. It's almost ready.
That is kind of true.
I've been jamming
think
on
it
this
needs a
one
new
EQ
mix.
for 4 years.
It was making me think of like as we were talking, what other fun ways can you just create like a pitch envelope? And I was thinking potentially like delay. You know how you can have your delay set to like the millisecond time?
Totally.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
had it
I do
set
that
to
all the
like-
time.
What do you go like slower to higher to have it like pitch up? Or like you could I don't know, you could use like a really quick delay like 300 millisecond to 1 millisecond, or maybe not 300 millisecond, but like
Are you talking about
that for a transient?
inside the patch? You mean like inside operator you're using delay, or is in like track delay, or what do you mean?
as just like
In
you
the
throw a
chain.
delay or echo on your chain. If you
right,
wanted
yeah,
to
yeah.
create another pitch, you could do it with like the millisecond thing
right,
somehow.
Like, what's
Did it,
another
super
way
quick?
to
Yeah.
get like more of a transient, like pitch shift kind
Or
of a
pitch
thing?
drift in general.
Yeah.
Because
The delay would probably sound horrible. Probably not sound
I'm
that
not
good,
opposed
but
to it. I think
I
it
mean,
could work. Yeah.
also disperser. Like I
Yeah,
throw
that's true.
that on kicks
Classic.
all the time
Yeah.
for that exact thing, just to give the kicks a little bit extra mid fucking.
Y'all
Squeal.
throwing disperser on your shit or no?
Yeah, it's super nice
Absolutely.
on drums. It's super nice on drums.
Yeah. I think it kind of feels evil to do it. I put
I
disperser
know,
on the
I love
master
it.
with one or
I
two
love
tracks.
it. I
We
love
might
it.
have talked about this
On the
last podcast.
master?
Disperser on the
I
master.
remember
Yeah.
you bringing this up at some point.
Yeah, it's kind of evil, but sometimes it
evil.
sounds cool. I mean, because also if like your shit's, assuming you've gone through, like if you're a real nerd and you want to like phase align your shit, so like
Sure.
going into it, everything is like kind of tight and arranged in a certain way, and then you disperse the master, all the frequencies relative to their little domain are moving in the same amount, but it's just
Right.
not that I'm phase aligning before
It's such a
dispersing the master. It's I'm being ooga booga brain about it, but like.
I kind of want to, especially on like a dubstep track, and you go heavy with the dispersion, and
Yeah.
you could automate it on the master.
Ooh, yeah, that's spicy.
Yeah. Like you have it in a big rack, and you have it just fucking turn on and off for like a moment in some.
I knew you were a
thing.
big rack guy. I knew you liked big racks.
I'm not a big rack guy. I'm a big rack guy.
Oh, I see.
Like when
okay.
I
And all racks are racks.
when I build a rack that's gonna do a thing, it's gonna be fucking loaded with shit.
Yeah,
It's gonna
yeah.
have a bunch of different shit and a bunch of macros, and it's gonna do a bunch of different stupid shit.
Yeah,
It's either
okay.
that or I'll make a rack that's like a Valhalla and an EQ.
Yeah, I relate to that.
You know, like those are the two racks I make.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a simple rack guy. I
I like it simple, or it's like ridiculous, and there's like a couple macros that just. I usually like I'll make them and I'll only turn them like a 2%. Like, oh, I made that too ridiculous, but whatever. We'll just
Yeah.
still use it. I'm not going to refine it.
2%.
Yeah,
and
like
it's
I
still
don't care.
like crazy.
Yeah, it's still like, but I'm not going to like refine it. I don't care. It's going
No,
to die
yeah.
in this track. Don't care.
Exactly.
That's the rabbit hole. Like that's where I get stuck. Is I've made so many racks that are really elaborate, and those are the ones I
Right.
never use because
Yeah.
I'm like, I know this does some really specific cool thing to a really specific cool input, and I can't remember what it is, so I'm just never going to open that. Whereas the racks that I use a lot are the Ooga Booga ones, where it's like OTT times 3 with all the macros
Yeah.
linked, or like a
Right.
clipper with the input and the output macroed. It's like
simple. Right.
something
Yeah.
fucking simple.
Right.
But yeah, everything
that
outside
cranks.
of that. Yeah.
I
It's
went
the stuff that
through
I do a lot.
a phase recently where I was just putting Delta racks on everything would get a Delta parallel chain
I still do that
to
now.
where I can turn it on and just see what the fucking shit is fucking up.
That's fun.
It's super nice.
Yeah.
Which, to anybody wondering, just parallel channel with the phase flipped.
Yeah.
So you're only hearing what is being added to the track.
Correct.
So you just subtract
Correct.
it.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
That's fun.
It's so
Right?
enlightening.
Right?
It's basically just utility.
fucking awesome.
It's utility style rack,
Yeah.
which I wish Ableton
Yeah.
and Bitwig both just on the utility thing had just like a delta that you could give it a sidechain or whatever, so you could just add it to anything at any moment and just use it as
Well,
a
it's just
delta.
the phase flip.
Right. Well,
It just requires
Yeah,
extra
we need
steps.
a
You got to like
chain.
split chains and then
Right.
add
Yeah.
a negative utility.
which if there's
onto
just
it.
a button that
Yeah.
made it that immediately would be kind of handy.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm
Too
asking
many
for a
buttons
lot.
scare the hose. I feel like Ableton is trying to be like friendly to the
the
trap
hose.
producer. All their
Right, they're
promo
trying
videos
to
are like
grab 'em.
the guy with his like million MIDI controllers like jamming away
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah,
like
they're-
I don't know what plugins do, and he's like doing this, and then like all the actual user base is like the diehard people who like want to make everything with stock plugins and get
Exactly.
scientific.
Exactly.
So, yeah, they're not reading the crowd.
Yeah, they
Not
kind of
reading the room.
switched like the post-pandemic. They like started to like really lean into the MPC crowd, which nothing against that, but they're kind of like the FL crowd, and it's like you're trying to just steal the FL crowd. Like what's
I mean, I
going on
don't
here?
blame them.
NFL's making money, and
Yeah.
they're not even selling updates.
I
So
know.
I think they
know.
figured it out. They're
It's
like,
the biggest DAW in the world, right?
Probably.
it might. I would
think it
actually
is.
love to know that for sure.
I think the only
Pretty sure we've
Can we look
covered
that
it
up?
on the pod before.
I don't think we have.
Yeah, Jared, can we pull that up? Is it Jared? It's Jared, the Joe Rogan.
Jamie.
Jamie.
Jamie, my
Jamie.
bad. Sorry,
I like
sorry,
Jared.
Jamie.
How dare you?
Yeah,
Jared,
well,
pull that up.
Jared is our
yeah.
Jamie.
yeah.
I guess most used DAW.
Jared is what Jamie was before he had athletic greens.
I was going to
Being such a Jared, dude.
Ableton Live, Logic, and Pro Tools.
They got to be. Oh, okay. I knew Logic just because it's like it comes with your MacBook if you pay an extra $200 when you buy it.
Right. Type in like DAW with the most sales in the past 10 years or something, 20 years.
The crashes. Okay, wait. Pro Tools.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You're
I was
hoping for Ableton,
Yeah, I was
huh?
hoping for Ableton. Yeah.
While others report stability issues with FL Studio. I don't know.
Okay, the one if FL Studio crashes, it's not going to save anything. That's unless you set it to manually to
Right.
save everything all the time.
Ooh.
Whereas Ableton, I will say they've really kind of
Ableton Live.
yeah, Ableton.
That's the most
Oh, sorry, I thought you were
popular,
correcting me there.
Pro Tools.
Actually,
Cubase above FL. I'm surprised.
yeah, that is.
fifth?
I think that can't be
Wow.
right.
I mean, among composers maybe,
Okay.
but I feel like isn't
I'm
there
just
like
repeating shit I heard from someone, apparently.
How many people do you meet that own a DAW that identify as a composer? That's such a niche demographic.
Right. I've never met
that's
one.
Somebody who went to like conservatorium jazz school. Like
Yeah.
I'm a composer and I use
Cubase
Cubase.
Does sound like that.
Hans
Yeah.
Zimmer's
Also,
been their
like-
idol since they were 8 years old.
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
like, they've just been
It's
Wow.
really
wrecked.
popular amongst the like older DMB heads, I feel like.
Cubase.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
I know
Yeah,
that
like
some people raved
Matthews
about
or
the
something
sound.
would be using it or something.
Yeah.
He was Cubase, wasn't he?
yeah, Matthews uses it.
Matthews is on it.
Maybe TB.
Yes,
Wow.
I think so.
Noisy
In
has
fact,
always been.
Mushroom, they
Noisia for so
really?
long,
they also
right?
use
Oh, was that Nick
Cubase.
Ruse? Was
Yeah,
yeah. I remember
he
the
uses a lot of
Razor
Cubase
tutorials.
until Bitwig came out and saved the day.
Yeah.
Shout out Bitwig.
I know, I just agreed with that. I was just going with
You
it.
should have. They did save the day, did they not?
I mean,
They're sick as fuck.
They
I'm
saved
still in
me.
Ableton, so.
I was getting ready to fucking jump, dude, and Bitwig was like, "Hold on, look at all these modulators," and I was like, "Do you crash?" And they said, "Never,
That's
never."
yeah.
And I immediately bricked up.
Yeah.
And here we are.
You were bricked up.
Yeah, I was
You've been
bricked up.
bricked up in the studio ever since.
Ever since. Ever since. 4.5 straight years I've been bricked up.
Wow.
With
Every time you
Bitwig.
open that thing, it's just like, oh, I can just throw a random on this, like right now.
Yeah.
I get so excited.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
still.
Do that.
Oh, you want to be macroed. Like that's how I
Yeah.
feel. Like
Right.
everything wants
Yes,
to be macroed.
exactly.
Oh yeah.
Everything wants to
Speaking
be
of,
modulated.
Using the delay for the pitch side of things. I love a fucking 100% delay, 100% wet with zero feedback, no filter, and just a random knob on the
So just wiggling about.
On the manual time.
to get it to
Yeah, that's nice.
Well, yeah, especially
just subtle, you know, just a
Yeah,
little.
like a nice slow random that'll just like stay
It just
and then just
drops, and then does one like big up. Yep.
and yeah, the whole thing is just
How does it go? How does it sound?
Yeah, it's great. It's a beautiful time.
You know the sound.
And if you like, if you just sit there and you make a rack of like 30 of those in a row,
How does it sound?
I'm not even gonna attempt it, dude. You have to figure it out
I
yourself.
actually need to do that. I don't think I've done that before.
I do that all the time. I'm like,
Really?
well, let me just.
A bunch of wood.
Duplicate.
Dude,
Well, I just usually will like.
You're good with your
duplicate
fingers.
I'll do 4, and then I'll grab them, and then I'll do the duplicate of 4s, and I'll go out.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the
duplicating,
move.
Until I see
you
the
gotta
CPU
duplicate
freak
multiple
out.
things at the same time.
Yeah.
I think so. I learned that trick like my first year or two into production, where it was like someone who's just like, just add like 40 phasers onto your thing.
Right, just goof
And I would
off.
do that on everything. And I would be like, I'm a sound design god. Like, listen to this weird sound of it. And it's just like this resonant, like horrible. I remember being so excited on that though.
I mean, it's good, like,
times.
it's a good headspace to be in occasionally. When, like, you need
Sure.
a little juice, you don't really know what to do. It's like, just throw 20 of whatever
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Or-
macro them all to a different knob and just sit there and start adding randoms to all those knobs. Just let it go free. Like, a lot of times, that's all you need. Like, you don't need all the best granulator plugins or this or that. Like, you just need some stocks and a little bit of the duplicate. You know? Like, just fuck around and find out.
I mean, dude, okay, so Render Liam is still kind of doing that shit. On
Right,
a little bit smarter
right.
way, but still a crazy ass way where when he was over, he was telling us he'll make like 15 parallel chains and just have
Right.
different effects in all of them doing just insane shit. And they're all just playing at once in parallel. And he's like, yeah, I just run with that and keep tweaking until it's like something cool.
Well, he's using whatever FL's like,
Patcher.
whatever.
Patcher,
yeah,
thank
Patcher.
you. Thank you.
He still said 15 parallel chains though, which
Right.
stuck with
But
me.
he's like,
and
he's
I-
Specify that number.
that number specifically.
It's like
You
I
can't do
can hear
16.
when it's 14. Like,
Exactly. 14's not enough. 16's too much.
So stupid.
There's not enough depth at 14. I
Yeah,
need
yeah.
15.
It
Yeah.
sounds a little thin.
So I tried it the day after we did that podcast,
Okay.
and it was just like nonsense. Like the chain I made was just like.
It requires some precision
Yeah,
for sure.
apparently.
He's been doing that for years.
That's true.
Like he knows exactly like the finesse of things. Which I mean, it's like the first time you made a mud pie. You're like, this I can't use any of this. This is horrible. You know. But then like
That's a good point.
4 years of making mud pies, now you know how to keep it in like the range and make sure the
That's a
sub doesn't
sacred
go
art
out.
right there.
It is a sacred art. It's a black
That
magic.
shit's impossible.
But if you can get it, you're like, oh my god, this is 3 hours of just sauce, you know. And it's the same kind of thing, like
Drag the loop out. Go
Right.
smoke a cigarette while it
exactly
fucking renders.
while it renders. Yeah, precisely.
But that's what's funny about the mud pie is the promise that if you record more audio, you're more likely to have like something cool. But it's funny when you like commit to this like long ass audio file and then you scrub through it and you're like, this all sucks.
It all
Like
sounds the
I just
same.
printed like 20 minutes of shit.
I don't know. I don't mind now because I'm printing them while I'm on the clock because I'm like at work and I just turn around and I'm at the studio computer. So I'm just like, all right, let's just add a couple more of these and we'll just print and then I'll turn back around and get to work. And so I can just sit there and reprint the same mud pie literally all day until it like finally I'm like, all right, there's three minutes of like
Yeah.
goodish
Yeah,
mud pie. But also, it doesn't take me that long now with the amount of
Plugins?
close. Start with the
Production
P.
knowledge.
Practice.
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 I feel like there is a plateau though with the like diminishing returns of like saving yourself time by like not putting as much thought into the mud pie, because the longer it gets, the longer you have to spend scrubbing through it. So if you do it too quickly, then you got nothing to scrub through. If you take too long, then you're going to spend ages scrubbing through. So there's like this sweet spot of like the ideal mud pie.
3 minutes is my favorite. 3 minutes is my favorite.
Yeah,
The mud
feels
pie
right.
paradox.
Yeah.
It's about the size. I like to just
It's
drag
about
it
the
out.
size.
Size
Drag it
does
out the
matter.
size of the amount of space that's in the DAW.
Oh, that you just see at
That
the
I
moment.
can see.
Hilarious.
I'll just loop it. I'll just loop out. Okay, so it's about that long, and then inevitably I'll print it, and then I will stretch it.
Yeah, right.
Now it's double the length, and then I'll make a mud pie with that mud pie.
Wow.
Chuck a
Stretched
disperser on the
out.
stretch version though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, shit.
That's a good call.
No, that's
we're talking
Disperser and stretch.
40 dispersers on the stretch
40
version.
dispersers. Man, like
Yeah.
this is one of those like little things that I've been abusing lately. Is like take any sound that's kind of like grainy, so like it could be like a stretched out sound, or like you could put some junk into a granulator. Then just disperse it.
Oh,
So like you have a sound that's like really coarse, and then when it's dispersed, it comes off like really nice and raspy in a way that
That's honestly
Yeah.
Like
fucking
uniform texture
genius.
kind of thing out of it.
Yeah.
yeah.
interesting.
Oh, I'm gonna spam that.
Yeah.
So I play with like you're in Ableton, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ableton.
So I spam texture mode all the time with like resampling and just doing like fun sound design shit. And you always get that like really tight, like chunky thing. Fucking disperser on it is
Absolutely.
genius. 'Cause then you get a little wiggle on it. Like I love
Brings
this.
it back together.
I
It's
love this.
glue.
No,
Yeah. You were an M freeform phase guy, I thought.
Oh, that too.
Hey, shout out.
Are you? Wait, did you
Yeah.
say you were or you
I
are?
am. I still am. I'm I love freeform phase.
Dude, can we go into that? This is one thing we haven't talked about on the pod.
We've talked about
Tell
it a
me
couple
everything
times.
you know about freeform phase right now. Go.
Go now.
No, I'm just kidding.
What? Something new about what? Freeform. Something about freeform phase. Oh man, like okay. There's like different.
I was
modes.
totally joking. Also,
No,
I wasn't trying to
okay.
put you on the spot, but I do want to talk about freeform phase.
Like the default mode is like totally lives up to its name. It's like freeform. You just draw it in, and it's really hard to use. But like you can switch it to
Amen.
this mode that like kind of locks it into a grid. Then you can dial in some stuff that's like way more predictable.
Right.
It's also an awesome mud pie tool. Like you get your synth preset, you hit on loop, you hit record, and as you're rendering out that mud pie, you're just like scribbling on this thing just constantly for like minutes. Like I've made these like 20-minute mud pies where I'm just like finding
Scooping
sweet spots,
around.
scooping around. Yeah, and then
I would be afraid that would like crash or something. If you're
Well,
recording
it's
and you're like
Ableton.
scribbling live, like
Yeah,
oh.
change to Bitwig, and
But
then
if
you
you're
won't
making
have
it
that
work,
issue.
try it. Hell yeah.
yeah, no, I love
great
I love
idea.
that kind of workflow. Like save those things, and like it's like Andre says, like sometimes it's just shit, but then it's like it lives in my archive for like 2 years, and then like honestly, like a bit of chaos and a bit of crap is like great when you've got like
Agreed.
you
It
have
lives
like
there
a
until you're smart enough to use it.
yeah.
Exactly.
Evolve and you're like, wait, this
Exactly.
is great.
Until your brain
Until
corrodes.
you have a moment that needs it.
Exactly,
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
like
yeah.
I've got this archive full of all these like chaotic, like rubbish sounds, and I love just like
You should start a
putting a
Patreon.
cheeky little slice in here.
Honestly,
It's like this is
I
a
actually
tight
would-
track, then like tiny slice of something kind of shit, like chaotic.
I would download all of those. I want all of your mud pies.
So, are you typically just drawing in like freeform jazz kind of thing, or do you ever use the like saw generator modes or square generator like steps, that kind of shit? Or you're
That
always just
sounds
drawing?
fun. No, I'm jazz style. I think
Cool.
like I need to try that too though.
See, I need to be a little bit more jazz style because I was originally jazz style, and then one of my buddy told me or just showed me you can use like the saw like drawing tools and shit. So I've just been doing that since, but. Jazz. I need to be a little less uptight, I guess. Thanks,
Jazz.
Caleb.
Jazz.
You need a jazz sample on here. I don't know.
I know. We need like a little.
Shit mud pies.
Oh wait, can I say one more thing
Sure,
about this?
go for it.
I have just one more thing.
What's up, Dew Point?
Hurry up.
So we need a whip sample. So I figured out a way. Have you ever wanted to? I guess if you're free drawing, you can't control like points, right?
Jazz.
It just makes it like a line.
You just raw dog.
Yeah, it's very
you're
hard.
You're raw
You're raw dog in the waveform. Yeah.
Well, if you use like the saw generating tools or like the drawing whatever like generating tools, there's points you can move around that move around the whole shape. I learned you can macro the points.
What?
And automate that. Yeah.
What?
No,
In
that's
freeform
dumb.
phase?
I know. This is like
This is truly misinformation.
What's it?
This is black magic.
this is the one and only thing in my 8 years of knowing John where he didn't know it already, and I got to show
We go,
John
and
something.
we're live.
Yes.
We're live. Do you hear that, John?
Suck
We're
it,
live.
John.
You can't make a Patreon now. You've been exposed.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. You missed your moment. You had 30 minutes.
What's it? There's a paid Melder plugin. It's like, I think it's called 4X or something. I can't remember the exact name. But it's one of those ones that's got all these like modules, including like freeform phase.
MXXX.
MXXX.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's you can like do that and like set up all this internal like crazy LFO stuff, like automate your freeform phase points. And then it's just
You knew
doing
it. You
it's
knew it.
absolutely wild.
Let's fucking go,
That's
dude. Yeah.
So
It's
is that how
really
you
expensive,
have to do
though.
it, or does freeform phase give you the ability to
It doesn't.
modulate? Oh, you have to have the triple X.
to do it in this triple X thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Shout out Vin.
it's because I don't know why. You should be able to just do it in freeform phase, but something with the MXX like overarching God
Programming.
program. Yeah.
Programming issues.
It has like their own like built-in macro thingies. What are those
Coders.
called?
Jazz.
I forget
Jazz.
the name, but like those things. Yeah.
LFOs and
Yeah.
You have to assign
modulators.
those to your points in I bet you could do it with the freeform one. I bet you.
There's
I'm
no
gonna try
modulators
something.
in freeform
This
phase.
is John clawing his way back to
Because
knowing
there's no
who's listening.
modulators in freeform
I can
phase.
tell you why. He did have a fun question.
No.
He did have a fun question for y'all.
Yeah.
Shittiest synth or plugin you use that you still put up with because it's a love-hate relationship.
Phase plant.
Operator.
Excuse you.
Shitty.
Watch your language.
Actually, I kind of agree with Faceplant a little bit.
Oh,
So.
no shit.
Excuse you.
Oh, actually, I'm so sorry. That's actually probably a
Shitty.
sin if, yeah.
We're sponsored by Kilohertz.
Yeah,
so
we're
maybe.
Wait, actually?
No.
We're trying. We're trying. You're killing me.
I mean, I love Faceplant.
There it is. Hey, clip it. Right there. Clip
Copycatt loves it.
Yeah. No, Faceplant's sick. I just think it's like, I'm all about like simplicity to some degree. I think Faceplant's good if you want a rabbit hole. I think like there's a degree with the workflow. Maybe I'm a little bit
Me,
like,
it's the opposite.
you want a rabbit hole.
No, I think it's simple
It's
as
just
fuck.
simple.
It can be, yeah. You can add as much or as little as you like, but it's the initial like that there's nothing in there. Maybe it's just because I haven't developed enough of a workflow with Faceplant
I
to
don't
feel
know.
good about it. But like the fact that I have to be like, okay, I want some operators like in the first place, where I'm like, most synths I just open it, it's there, I turn one knob and it's like already making sound. Faceplant, there's like 2 or 3 extra steps, which isn't much, but I feel like it adds up over time. If I'm like often if I'm just making like a quick sub, I'm not going to open Faceplant. I'm going to open operator, and then I guess the irony of it is that like the simple things tend to lead to a rabbit hole. Like with operator, I make a sub and I'm like, I'm just going to quickly add a noise layer, and then I'm like, I'm just going to quickly add some mids. I'm just going to quickly do this, and then it turns into this huge patch. Maybe it's just a comfortability thing if I use Faceplant enough.
It does sound like
maybe.
a workflow thing to me because I like Faceplant for the sake of like if I'm going to make a sub, I will always pull up Faceplant because I can layer my operators and then see what the shape of the waveform looks like
It is
before I
nice.
even
That's
listen
nice.
to
Actually,
it.
I do like that.
It's just like you just put it there and it like converts the
Right,
waveform
into
to what
like a
it's
little
gonna
more
be, and
square
I'm
or
like,
whatever.
Okay, interesting, nice, good. That's what I want probably.
Yeah,
Right,
It's
right.
an engineer's instrument. That's what it feels like.
It
I feel like
is.
everything that drifts like Faceplant is the quintessential like platonic ideal engineer's tool. Whereas like if everything drifting back from that is like turning into the Ableton ideal producer,
Right.
which is the guy who pushes the buttons and like doesn't know what he's doing. Like you want it to feel like an instrument, and Faceplant doesn't feel like an instrument. It feels like a tool. Which if you and I think you could get comfortable with it.
You're right.
But-
I also, it's the only thing I save the presets in. because it feels.
I didn't know you did that.
It's clinical in like a nice way for me, where I can make a sub and I know that I can see it all in one page, so I know like it's clean, nothing else is happening. It's not like a Serum where I have tabs where I have to check to see if I remapped a thing in like a weird way, or if something's mapped in a weird way, or like whatever. Where phase plant, I can just see it all immediately, and it's the one thing I have like 3 subs that are all in there, and the last one I made a couple months ago. But other than that, like I just use the same ones, and I'll just add a couple things. But it's just nice to see it all, just like right out of the gate. I don't have to worry about it, which is the kind of the same thing as operator. Like it's all right there. Like you don't you have a couple different pages, but in general, like if you make a sub,
you're looking at most of it.
Yeah, you're looking at most of it right out of the gate.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, and I usually do my processing in the chain. I don't usually
me
do
too.
it in the synth.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's just like the FM or any kind of
it's just quickly
modulating that needs to happen.
Get an LFO going, and then move on to the signal chain.
I think I like to be tricked into thinking I'm making a simple sound. That's what it is. Like when I open phase plant, I'm looking at all the things I could do, and I'm like, "Fuck!" Like I know it's not like none of it is
It
like
cannot be simple enough.
Yeah, I know. That's the funny thing is like
simple.
I fucking love the Kilohertz plugins in general. Like everything is these tight little simple modules, and you pull it up, and you're like, it does the one thing. If they did that with oscillators, I would be tricked. And I would use a whole bunch of kilohertz stuff and do exactly what you could do in phase plant, but I would just think it was easy. And it's like,
so they
I'm
need
doing
to have
the same
like
bullshit.
a phase plant light,
Yeah, or just like just the operators,
or just
and
a
like
UI
just the,
that
and it's a
is a little
tiny
more
window.
simpler.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The small window tricks me, and I think that's why I gravitate to operator. I actually hate some of the things about operator. The pitch envelopes in operator, they're inconsistent. Ableton, listen to this.
Oh, really?
If you're making a kick specifically, because that's very like minute time domain, like the transient will be different every time. You make a kick, and if that initial pitch envelope is like 10 milliseconds long, I have to sit there and just record a mud pie for a kick sample that I have an intention for it, but I'm just sitting there triggering it because each one will be slightly different. The pitch envelope changes.
Do you think it's because maybe there's a random phase on the oscillators?
Well, the default is fixed retrigger on operator,
yeah,
so this is why it's
true.
wigged me out. I'm like, why is it? And it's not the trigger of the oscillators. It actually sounds more like the pitch envelope kind of
doing something weird.
I'm putting a lot of confidence in my ability to hear the 10 millisecond domain.
Dude,
or whatever, but like
your ears are better than 90% of engineers on the planet, dude.
this is why I have a Patreon.
No, but we'll clip this and we'll at Ableton right now, dude. At you guys, hey. Oi!
At Ableton.
At Ableton.
Get more like Bitwig.
Yeah. I mean,
JK.
I wonder if there's some so I'm rabbit holing here, but I wonder if there is some
Now I'm
like
tempted to-
intercompany rivalry.
Well,
what were you gonna say?
There is a little bit
They
because it's a
must.
bunch of engineers that left Ableton to
Right.
make Bitwig because they didn't like the rat's nest code. At least that's what I've heard through like the lore. But I wonder now because Bitwig has a synth that's like an operator, and I wonder. I'm gonna do the same test and see if it does a similar thing.
Yeah. I would be very interested
I wonder
to
if
see the
that's
results
just
of
something
this.
that has to do with the code of the pitch envelope that fast. Like they have to pay for a better code if they wanted to make it
Yeah.
shitty.
You notice Ableton hasn't done any audio rate stuff really in terms of like modulation. Ableton
that
never
sucks.
touches audio rate.
Right,
I think
right.
if Bitwig can accommodate audio rate modulation,
Dude.
they can probably deal with
they
the pitch
have a
envelope
couple
problem.
different options
Yeah.
that do, for lack of a better word.
You mean Ableton
Can
or
we just have
Bitwig?
every plugin
Bitwig.
incorporate that somehow?
Audio rate.
Yeah, like if it's a plugin that makes sense for it,
Audio
like they
rate's
all
sick
just
as
need
fuck.
that. They also all need a randomizer button. I'm so disappointed
Well, I
that like
do
only
agree
Melda
that-
and like a few other
Yeah.
handfuls have like a pure randomizer.
Doesn't the Ableton Rack have one that you can?
They did add that.
Right.
Shout out
I do
Ableton.
like that. I do
Yeah.
like that.
That's so fun.
That's
Audio
nice.
rate is one of the sickest things about phase plant because you can build your like Fat Boy sub with the noise and whatever, and then you can just drag your main sub down into a separate channel and then have it modulating the noise volume to like give it the flutter, and then you can like pitch it down like a couple, so it just
get it, just sit there and swank.
Yeah, that's baller.
yeah, it's so
Yeah, it's a
good.
pretty good time.
Too much fun.
Fucking good.
Baller,
Dude, Kiloheart's ring mod is so sick for that as well. The sidechain input for ring mod, that's bread and butter. I
Yeah.
fucking
They are
love
on
that.
just a different level when it comes to like their
Yeah, they do their own code
whole fucking
for everything.
the whole ecosystem of all their plugins, how they all work together, and how you can rent to own, how they all
they figured that out.
how
That
they
was
all
tight.
work. Like they're just on a fucking another fucking level. The only thing I'm not the biggest fan of, and this is big for me, is I don't really like the aesthetic of Kilohearts at all.
It's pretty vanilla.
It's pretty
Yeah.
sterile. It's just like gray and blue, and it's just like mine. I changed to pink
That's
and
fair.
blue, so
How did you do
to
that?
pink and gray. There's like a whole thing you have to do. It's kind of
Yeah.
a pain in the ass. Like I had it where it was displaying like some galaxies behind every window, but literally
Nerd.
the image I was using was like 12K. So every time I'd open Faceplant, it was just like computer
Trying to load your
freak out.
goddamn galaxy.
And I was like, I shouldn't do that.
Duplicate this thing out like five
Yeah,
times
yeah,
in a row. Obviously.
I was like, this is a bad idea. I should change this. So I did. But just the hues and like the way they shade the plugins, I'm
everything
not
has
a big
GIF
fan
going
of.
behind it.
The fucking cat.
Has
Everything's like
CPU-intensive can we make this?
RGB like lines going through everything.
Right. Actually, I would love that.
Which also
that'd
the
be
other
sick.
goated thing for Kilohearts / Faceplant over every other synth is if you get bored, you can play Space Invaders right there in the
Yeah,
synth.
you could do
I
that.
forgot. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't do that.
There's
in
a
any
couple
other
of
synth.
different ones that you can do in different plugins they have.
Yeah, it's true.
you just have this brief moment where you're like, man, being a producer is so boring,
And then you're like,
hit a button, you're like, yeah, I'm a gamer.
yeah, exactly. Why would you not want to be,
They need to put an FPS in one of them.
right? Like Doom? Oh, dude, if they
That'd
have
be
Doom in it,
Doom would be good.
I'd
That
go
would
hard.
be low
Like the
CPU
OG,
as well.
Right,
Like,
it's
that would
super
be
low.
Fucking sick.
Just some two-tone Doom.
Yeah.
Just shooting fucking.
Honestly, if it was like
Demons.
Vectorscope aesthetic, that is my source. Like Vectorscope
would
is
be
that's-
cool.
I'm bricked up in the studio.
I'm bricked up too.
Same.
And then you hit record and you sample your playthrough of Doom.
Oh.
Now we're cooking with
Or even
gas.
better if you could like if whatever synth you're working on is just the fire button, like there's just like it could be terrible. You'd be like making a really elongated sound and you trigger the fire button, it's like, but it would still be cool.
It would be cool. I
We did have
agree.
an idea to make a like Ninja Turtles style side scroller video game where all
Yep.
the gun sounds are bass sounds.
That's
and
fun.
then like a beat just is happening while you're playing the game.
Right,
so
right.
you try and shoot on the beat. You're like,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
wah, 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 wah.
And the
It, like,
enemies will
changes
spawn like
based on things.
with a given interval to let you be able to hit it on time and like make a riff. Like it's like
Yeah,
a Guitar
yeah.
Hero, but instead of this direction, it's this direction, and it's with guns and monsters.
That sounds way cooler than
Yeah, it
just
was
playing
hell
an
cool.
instrument. Music
it-
is embarrassing.
we should vibe code that. Dude.
We will vibe
We
code
should
that.
vibe code that.
Yeah.
I'll vibe code that later.
Coding.
I want to rabbit hole for a sec.
Okay.
I remember, so
ahead.
I've known Alex for, actually we met in like 2019, I think, at a
18? Twisted Frequencies.
Yeah, it was a festival in New Zealand, which
Yeah.
is where neither of us live. It was just like a random, we just met. And,
So jealous.
It's like basically
Oh,
a
it's
I'd love
cool,
to go
actually,
to New
right?
Zealand.
yeah, it's like Australia where they don't have spiders
Or
and they
snakes.
have Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Right.
It's great.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I feel like I've seen you go through lots of like producer waves of different philosophies and like have fed off that. But I remember there was a phase where you were aligning the transients of your like percussion to the sub oscillation to like some of them would sit on the top of the sub oscillation, some of them would sit in the middle.
All right.
It was a fucking fascinating
Please go
phase. I
on.
just want to like
wanna
hear
man,
you like
okay.
explain this because I like
I love
Alright.
this.
All right. So like I went through a phase where I was just like ultra purist.
Phase.
Phase. Very much a phase.
Yes, I just guessed that was going to be the button.
So, like the idea was like I wanted stuff to sound good without using like any processing at all, basically.
Love this.
And so I went down this like phase alignment rabbit hole and learned all the different ways that like, phase might affect stuff. So in the instance of like, let's say like you've got like your sub, and obviously the sub is like the loudest thing in the mix, like a big old sine wave. And then you're placing like your drums, like, so this is where like the engineer comes out, and like a jammer would never do this, but like an engineer producer.
Yeah.
You zoom in on the waveform, you grab your tiny hi-hat sample, and then you're like, I'm going to place it here, like right on top. And then like, so if you put it right on top of like the positive crest of the sub, I found that you get like this more of like a pop kind of sound to it. If you put it in the middle, then like, well, it's more full volume. It's got all the headroom. If you put it negative, it's kind of, I don't know, like I was talking about this with Andre, and I think we sort of agreed that a transient placed on the positive or the negative crest of a sub kind of sounds like 1% different.
Dude, it does.
There is definitely
No, it
some.
does, because it's pushing the speaker cone at you
Right.
first, or
Yeah,
like,
exactly like
Hey,
that.
easy, dude.
pulling. Yeah. Dude, I love this.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
like
this.
it comes down to like if so I guess we really were like boiling it right down to like, okay, so like when you're producing, right, and especially if you're new to it and you come from a musical background, you get tricked into thinking that like what you're producing is like a spread of like musicians positioned across a stage. Like, Ableton gives you all these
definitely,
layers.
yeah.
You think you're creating layers of sound, but like you're not. You're creating a speaker cone that moves backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like rather you're creating the movement of the cone. It's just forwards and backs, and that's it. So you're not. It's less about like putting your bass here and your drum here. It's more about like what's the dynamic response that I can get out of the speaker cone just doing its thing.
Right.
So the hi-hat. So I found that if you go into it, if you're insane enough, you make sure that your hi-hats are like on the positive, then they'll pop forward more. But the downside of that is that it's also going to get like clipped more.
Yeah.
Right.
So it works if it's like quiet, and if your sub is not like floor to ceiling.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I really loved this rabbit hole. I think the progression of that was we felt like there's some sort of like middle ground of like there comes a point where you just don't want to give too much of a fuck and you just want to have fun and write. But there is an effect that's like really noteworthy in this, because I feel like even in my own tunes where especially when you're applying saturation and compression and that sort of thing, the effect of having like, say you got a snare transient and you have a sub, or kicks especially, actually kicks probably the best example. If you have a sub that's kind of like on its way up and then your kick transient kind of meets it where that's ending. So it's not so I'm like a real aggressive side chainer where I'll like cut a hole so like the sub goes mute and then the kick is in that gap, and sometimes the effect is there's like a little bit where you're just sitting at the zero crossing, there's just like silence. But what you were messing around with, and sometimes you can really hear the effect on a transient where like it's like the sub will get to like the positive peak and the kick meets it there, and then suddenly you're hearing a kick and not the sub. So the side chain's still in effect, but like it's more glued with this like ongoing bass
especially
movement.
the front end, because you usually are focusing when it comes to your kick and your side chain. You're making sure the tail combines well, like so. There's no gap in there. But never have I thought about what the front end of where those two meet makes a difference. That's fucking beautiful.
It was cool. He had like audible examples as well, where you could hear certain transients would just sound different because of the way like if you got a sub rolling into it, it would sound more glued and like. In like I'm trying to do my best to like audibly articulate that.
Roll into it.
Sure. Exactly. As opposed to like this hard cut where it's more like a saw click.
Right.
You know, trying to like glue something into.
Yeah.
Because it's all just one, like exactly that. It's
it
all
is a
just one
speaker
oscillation.
It is a
it's all
speaker
just
cone
one
movement.
movement.
It's not like I'm making
That's so
silence
fucking-
for the
I love
kick.
this,
No,
dude.
you're bringing the speaker cone to null, so now the kick can happen and can
Yeah, exactly.
continue. Yeah, interesting.
I love that you guys brought this up because I like 2 days ago was watching one of the Subtronics streams that he did like during the pandemic, and he was talking about this exact concept where he was like, oh, I like to like phase align my drums with my bass and like look at the positives going into the positives. But he did this thing, and I'm sorry, Subtronics, I'm calling you out on this, but
Shut up.
he went to like the transient of his kick, and he's like, okay, yeah, it's all starting positive here. And then he went to his bass, but then went way further into like the song, or not into the song, but like 500 milliseconds away from where his face, and he was like, oh yeah, this part of the bass is going up, so he's like, that should be in phase.
Yeah, okay.
And I was like,
oh no,
buddy, what?
What are you talking about?
I mean, he just got his first.
But it was also great because like
Matt Davis studio.
Yeah, he
so
did.
He'll,
He
he'll
did
be
do
getting
that.
in there soon.
That's true.
I'm sorry, Subtronics, but I saw that,
Davis
and it
gonna
was
tell
like,
him what's up. Yeah.
it was kind of a nice refresher of like, oh, you can get to like a huge level of making cool art, making fun shit just through emotion and like definitely like technical skill. He knows like what he's doing
Right.
to some degrees, the way we all do.
Right.
But it was
This,
just funny to see that and be like, oh no, that's just like not correct at all. You're trying to phase align two parts that are like not on top of each other. Like, what are you doing, buddy?
This whole topic rolls really nicely into a theory that I've had for many years on this podcast that I've never actually tested to see it. I don't even know how I would, but
Truth.
I like noise in general, like as like a subtle thing happening on my tune. And I always feel like it just sounds better with a little bit of like a hum of something happening. But my theory is it sounds better because it just is wiggling the cone just slightly. It's just giving it like a neutral wiggle that when something hits it, it's not like going from absolute sterile to fucking moving. It's
Right.
like always
I agree with that, for
ready
sure.
to go.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when you hit
Yeah.
it with the transient, it's okay, rather than just DC offset every
Yeah.
single time or whatever.
Right. I mean, it's like you're warmed up for like the race. Like I think it's a good thing that the speaker cones are flexed out. They're ready to rock.
They're stretching.
Stretching.
They're stretching.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a funny analogy. I agree.
Come on, guys.
But I do feel that there's actually a lot of thoughts to be. I like that it was short.
What's
I
up,
can't do
Fervor?
it this- but
Wait,
I
hit another
feel
random
like,
one. Just one more.
Sorry. That's very embarrassing.
So fast.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm from Australia. I don't know how that stuff works. But I feel like it actually raises a lot of different thoughts. Like
Yeah.
part of it is that's how dithering works in terms
Yes.
of like reducing aliasing, where you get like ringing frequencies and shit because of just like downsampling.
Yep. I self-dither.
Yeah, exactly. But then also, what you said about like going from, so like I have a theory that the main reason I have tinnitus is because of making snares in headphones, where you're going from silence to just like full full frequency
again.
yeah like and that's unpleasant. It's unpleasant when you're going from silence to like a full volume sound. So having background noise is also reflective of real life, where you hear a sound, you're not just like in a vacuum and then suddenly some guy is just like talking at you. It's like, like there's general noise happening all the time, and that like is relaxing.
General noise.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with that. I feel like noise in general, that like I like that there's an instrument that we have in terms of like describing things we would use in a song. It's just called a pad, because the pad specifically serves that purpose of like creating a general noise floor that just makes a listening experience more
It's an
comfortable.
Atmos.
Yeah, exactly.
Well said,
And it's
Andre.
just-
Let's go. I love that.
Thank you.
So-
Thank you. I'm from Australia.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with it, dude. You live in
Australians
America.
know about their pads, right? Yeah. So, do you guys think there potentially could be a time and place to have your waveform go to full null, nothing, even if it's for like 20
I mean, you
milliseconds?
could use it artistically,
Yeah.
I think.
100%. Yeah.
Is that something you guys do in your songs?
No!
Where you
No, just
intentionally...
kidding.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I mean, technically, yeah, because I have noise all the time.
No. That's the opposite of what I'm saying.
No,
I feel like-
I said no because technically I have
I
noise
see.
happening all the time, right? So no, I don't have any point where it's null.
Oh, you should
Wow.
try it.
Okay.
Do you,
I mean,
do either of you
I'm sure it happens,
play
but
with that?
Andre definitely does. I've seen his. You do like 10 milliseconds before like every snare or kick. It's just like silence, and then like full like
Yeah.
0 to 100.
It's actually funny. We had that whole conversation about being really delicate and like intentional with the transients, and I'm just cutting these holes that are like, just nothing
10
there,
milliseconds?
and then the snare will sound
10 is
big.
pretty
Exactly.
intense.
10 milliseconds is an exaggeration. I
Okay,
feel,
okay.
but
Well,
maybe
but it's
four,
also
maybe
10
four. depends.
milliseconds. Like when you're listening in
the grand
club
scheme of
and
things,
just listening, yeah.
nah.
Because mine has like
In the scale of
2.
your life, how long is 10 milliseconds really?
Yeah.
It's about 10 millis actually.
Yeah, 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'll use like 2 because of my
Pre-delay.
yeah, the sidechain that I
Shaper
has a pre-delay of 4, and it takes
Yeah.
about
Oh, do you
all
use
4 of those
Kickstart?
milliseconds. No, just
Oh, what do you-
Shaperbox with
Do you use Kickstart?
I didn't know that. I
The
used
volume.
Kickstart. I didn't realize
Nice.
Shaperbox did the
fuck
pre-delay
yeah.
as well.
Oh yeah, you have
Oh,
up to
yeah.
4
Cable guys.
You hit
milliseconds, dude.
audio.
And
The
then-
bottom
dude.
for the triggering.
Then you hit
and
the
Oh, you're using
gear.
Shaperbox 3. This is
Yeah,
Shaperbox 3.
Shaperbox 3,
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, you hit the gear, and then you have a fucking dial for the
Yeah, a little pre-delay.
I
pre-delay.
love that they added audio triggering to Shaperbox 3. That's just
Insane.
it's so much fun.
It's so accurate. Well, yeah, it's also
Yeah.
super fun because you have
So
audio
good.
rate and you have like a whole bunch of goofy shit you can do.
Yeah.
It's just super fun.
I played
So
around
good.
with doing like different like drum triggers for like reverb sweeps. So like every time a kick hits, it would just go for a
Right,
second.
yeah.
It, like I don't know if it was like musically cool, but it was fun to play around with. Where it's like
I've been
I feel
doing
like
that a lot, too.
For sure.
I'm drifting more into the engineer domain where I'm not even thinking about the music I'm going to write. I'm just like drawing some curves and linking some
Yeah.
buttons, and it's just like now it sounds like this. Cool. Like, that's
Reverb
fun.
swells for
Yeah.
no reason. Yes.
I just
Yeah.
put a MIDI drum pattern in, and now the song exists. Like it's cool. Tools are fun,
Tools are fun, folks.
Yeah.
but silence. Okay, in relation to that, I do think
Yes.
like it's a controlled thing. I don't know because like it's also relative to your listening environment, right? Like
Yeah.
so silence is obviously very effective if you're playing on a festival speaker because like
Yeah.
you've already got a bunch of noise in the background.
You
so
have a
this-
noise floor.
yeah, you're guaranteed noise floor. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
hear something if the speakers aren't playing. Whereas if you're listening in headphones, sometimes silence can be a little bit more aggressive, and that's where like maybe subtle reverb sends and stuff like that can help. But
Yeah.
wow, I actually just realized I
great
don't have
point.
a good answer to this question. I feel
No,
like
I
it's
love-
complicated.
I
like,
love the riff on it. Yeah, there is no answer. It's
No.
one of those where it's just like,
Yeah.
do you like to do it or do you not?
I mean, if you're Ivy
why do you
Lab,
care about it?
then it's going
Then
to be
fuck no.
drowned
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
noise.
Yeah.
If you're Tipper, if you ever like, if you
Right,
guys ever breaking
exactly.
down one of his
The
songs, like,
opposite.
yeah, there's so many moments throughout a song where it's just literally like nothing.
Okay.
And then a nothing, and then a nothing, and it could just be fucking like 3 milliseconds, or it could be like a full fucking like beat of the song or 2, where it's just like, fuck you, bitch, and we're
Well,
back.
yeah.
now the question is, who do speaker manufacturers hate more? Like, does that really hurt the speakers if it has to like
Nah,
and then go
It's
fucking
not-
full bore?
Nah, nah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe.
maybe actually. I have
Depends.
no
Like,
idea.
are you the one manufacturing the cones and how much stress they can handle? I don't know.
I am the CEO of the
Oh.
Function One company.
Excuse me. My
so-
bad. You're right. My bad.
It's definitely
Yeah.
definitely bad for record players for vinyl. Like you're not supposed to.
yeah.
Is it?
Like, yeah.
You can't really go like 0 to 100 on a vinyl, or else like the needle flies out or something like that.
Right.
So like,
Right.
yeah, you know.
Well, I mean,
it's one
there's
thing you master
physical.
You have to do a separate vinyl mix, or you
Yeah,
just have a
somebody-
noise floor.
Somebody needs to print a prank vinyl where it just like intentionally is just really bad. Like it pushes the needle out
Name it
constantly.
like scratching vinyl or whatever.
Yeah. Everyone
Just
buys it.
destroying needles. There's just like ridges, and it's like a saw wave, but
Right.
yeah, how does a saw wave behave on vinyl? Actually, that's a question I would love to know.
I mean, it looks like a saw wave. I would assume it's just a like.
Well, it can't be.
that's
It
more
can't
than
be
a
dead. Like it
90
is
degree angle.
physically impossible to do a saw wave like
Yeah.
dead zero. It's got to be some sort of
Well, if you look at an
interpolation.
analog saw
I mean,
wave, it's
I
not
want-
full zero. It's got a slight angle, and then it does a little thing before it comes back down.
Yeah,
I think this
So-
is something that we need to do. Is we need to
Press a dub plate.
we need to press our own saw wave dub plate. Because you know the saw wave you get off that vinyl when you actually listen to
It's
it,
gonna be sick.
sound
It's
sick.
gonna
Yeah,
be sick.
it's
We better
gonna be
record
nice.
that.
Do we do like
It's
a
gonna
sweep
have a
then,
round.
where it starts like
Obviously.
Yeah, it starts low.
20 hertz, and then just slowly
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
It's got
for
a
like
plateau.
4 minutes though.
I
It's got
bet
a
there's.
plateau from time to time.
I bet there's.
Oh.
You know, it
Chill
needs
for
to
a sec.
like
There's a couple printers here in town. We could have them just like, here, I want you to print this dub plate. And they're like, what is it? You're like, it's a saw wave for 6 minutes. Please print this for me.
All right, check out this vinyl I got.
And it's like a mountain.
Yeah.
You could do like a really crazy test press where it feels terrible to hold.
Like, ow! It's pokey.
It's molecularly sharp. Like But I love the idea of doing like a test press vinyl where it's specifically like a bunch of sounds that will not recreate well on vinyl, so you can see the translation of digital to analog.
Yeah.
And the other thought I had, which is completely unrelated, is that you should put someone on the podcast who like designs speakers and is really good at it, and ask them all the things they hate about producers. That would be really entertaining. I feel like.
I love that. That's so.
Anybody
good.
know any speaker manufacturers here in town?
I mean, Matt Davis he's not a speaker manufacturer, but he knows some stuff. Yeah.
He would scare me to have on the podcast.
I mean, we're gonna say that you recommended him for the podcast.
I feel like everything I'd say would just come off dumb to him.
No, he's.
I'll sit there.
I mean, I would take the L to be on that podcast with Matt Davis. Like, I'm gonna look like an idiot just to hear this guy like complain. Honestly, everyone loves to complain. That's like an irresistible offer. Like, come onto our podcast and just express all of your gripes.
Have you listened to his most recent on Mr. Bill?
Mr. Bill?
Yeah.
He wears Mr. Bill completely out by the end. He's like, all right, I'm gonna get. To be fair, almost every single Mr. Bill episode ends with him being like, well, I need to eat now, so we're gonna end this. But I feel like he just was like hammering Bill with the knowledge that he had, and it was such a good podcast.
It was great. It was great. Bill said
good.
Bill said like 20 words the whole episode.
Yeah.
It was Matt Davis just like, here's everything.
Classic
Downloading. It was so good.
I would love to have him on the podcast.
He built Bill's studio as well, so there's like particularly no position to argue, I guess.
Studios.
Yeah, he built a lot of studios.
I would
He's
like
crazy.
to see him judge mine.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd love him. No,
He'd be like, yo, the drum pad thing is genius. I never thought
I know, right?
Actually, the fish tank is kind of harnessing a bunch of 30
like
hertz. Actually, it's dispersing that really nicely.
Did you ever? Sorry, go ahead.
You go.
We did a fun little experiment where have we talked about this with your sand?
Oh, where we filled my
I
speakers.
don't think we talked about this yet. Do you want to talk about it?
There's a thing where you can fill your speaker stands with sand to keep them from resonating, because they're going to resonate at a certain frequencies if your speaker stands are hollow.
Yeah.
I think Matt Davis did this in Mr. Bill's studio, from what I understand.
Yeah. There's a couple guys who have talked about it.
Shit.
And
okay.
in terms of my experience as the listener, I like it a lot better, because I'll make an FM bass or whatever that hits like the 130 or whatever, or like the 90 just right, and all you hear is just like a flute, because both your speaker stands are just now a flute, and you're like,
great.
Cool. Which it definitely gets rid of that. But in terms of like doing a reference before and after on like an EQ wizard type of thing, you can't really see where it is. I'm assuming mainly because it's such a small frequency range. It's like 120 to 122 or whatever, where it like sings, that it's hard to like see it represented. But from my position, it's great, because now I don't have to hear it fucking sing all the time, because I work in the 90 hertz all day long.
Yeah.
So I'm working on getting my fucking concrete speaker stands going.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
these days.
We're gonna build some concrete speaker stands.
You're gonna pour some concrete for the studio. Let's go.
We're thinking like
That's
you could
hardcore.
build like bricks that kind of like puzzle piece together.
Yep.
So you just got like a base one, and then you got
A couple mid ones. Yeah.
that go up, and you just stack them.
Also, what if
Put your speakers on them.
you could almost go the opposite direction, where you guys are trying to go more solid with it? What if you go more like
Hang
3D
the speakers?
printed, where it's like
gonna
ultra
resonate.
hollow, but it's not. Check it out. I'm imagining like some sort of like pattern through it that's like diamonds cut out or something.
But if it's lightweight, it's gonna vibrate.
It's gonna vibrate, but
If
it's
it's
not
not
gonna
dense.
resonate.
Right, but vibrating is going to resonate out of frequency. If they're all vibrating together, they're going to go.
Well, but then also the concrete and sand one is still going to vibrate. It's the same mentality, right?
The concrete won't
Still
at any,
vibrating.
but not at any audible range.
But neither would the 3D
Yeah, they
printed.
would.
I don't think it would.
How are they linking together without vibrating?
Okay, so I wish I could pull up a pattern. So I'm imagining it's like a it's like a 3D printed tube,
Hang the
right?
speakers.
Okay.
But it's not like a can where it's just like this all the way through.
Sure.
It's like cut out in like diamond shapes or something.
Right, so they all grid together
So
real
it's
nice.
gridded.
But the
so
problem
it's
is if
holes,
it's
That
but there's
will resonate.
holes everywhere through
That
it.
will resonate.
But the problem is because it's so lightweight, the right frequency is going to move the pressure of air that they're all just going to start bouncing around. It's the same thing as if
Yeah.
you blow at a deck of cards, it's just going to blow away. Like
Isn't that the
it's
same thing for the concrete or thick?
no, because it's so dense, it's heavy. Like you need such a low frequency.
Oh, so you need like a louder volume to make
that
it
and-
really vibrate.
That and it needs to be at like 3 hertz to the point where it's moving the air in such a way that it like will vibrate
like a
apart.
concrete stand is
Okay,
more likely
that
to
makes sense.
resonate like whatever's in the floor
Right, it's gonna
or something
it's gonna
like that. Like you're
transfer.
gonna get like
Yeah.
the beams of wood that are going through the floor more than it's gonna get the stand itself.
Oh.
Well, the cool thought is,
And it will
yeah.
do that.
yeah, sure.
You will
It's
start
feeling the
buzzing your
room.
floor.
Yeah, okay,
You'll
that
hear
makes
it
sense.
at nighttime while
Right,
you're sleeping, and I'm making
Yeah.
right. Which isn't never
which
going to
is the
happen.
opposite of what actually happens.
I know.
My thought with the concrete stands is you make them look like they're some pillars from like ancient Greece or Rome. So they all have convexing
Okay.
or convexing or what's the opposite?
Concave?
Concaved. Concaved half circles. So it's diffusing anything that comes back at the stand
I mean, just do
as well.
Just do an
Ooh, I like
absolute
this.
cylinder. I think
that. Yeah, but
absolute
that sounds
cylinder
fun.
is better.
I want dispersion. I want
That's
like
what I'm talking about.
I know, but I want maximum dispersion.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's not maximum.
Yes, it is.
No, the more curves, the better. The more curves, the more dispersion you'll get.
Big racks, big
the
curves.
exact same
I
reason.
mean, at every point in a fucking cylinder, it
Thank
goes
you.
a different direction.
Right, but if you have concaved, then it'll hit in and hit again. So you'll have more dispersion.
It's like number of reflections is higher.
Correct. Right. It's the exact same reason why the cloud, like the skyline thing, is such a thing, because it's a bunch of different cubes that are all small and all pointed, coming out of different directions. Where if you had
The problem is
one
you're
that
getting
isn't
like
as
directed
gridded,
shit when you have this shape happening.
right. The
Like a cylinder is going to give
convex.
you equal dispersion.
right. I don't want
Something
equal.
that
That's
does
exactly my
this
point.
Will be aiming the sound in multiple directions.
Can we
Right.
just
That's
do
why you don't have
the-
it perfect.
You know how people have those little things on their desk, and it's some sort of magnet thing, and their little object is like floating and spinning? Can we just do that with our speakers?
A fidget spinner?
No, it's not.
I agree.
No,
I agree.
fidget
We should
spinner.
do
Bro,
that.
if your
Like-
diffusion was fidget spinners, like heaps of fidget spinners, that would be
Just on the
fucking
wall,
sick.
just-
yeah. That would just be like an aesthetically pleasing. That's your noise floor.
I feel like
imagine
yeah,
you're
it'd
just
be
like
loud.
producing, you see like in the background, there's just like hundreds of fidget spinners all spinning.
Dude.
Yeah, it would be like a noise. It'd be like
You have to go like this.
or you have like a fan that's blowing at all the fidget spinners all the time.
Yeah.
Be so loud. No. What were you actually talking about, though?
I'm talking about just having floating
Hovering
speakers.
speakers. This is
Yeah.
why I was
we
saying
just bypass
hang
the
them.
stand entirely.
Oh, like hanging
them.
Yeah, you just hang them
With what?
Hang them's good.
with cables, like any speaker is from
Like a
any
line array.
venue ever. Yeah, you know they're hanging in like from
Does that
these.
does that
they hang?
introduce some really
Oh, yeah, I
weird
guess.
acoustic
Yeah,
effect?
that's how they're just hanging out.
Probably
They're
not.
hanging.
Well, if your sub pushes hard enough,
Yeah, you could push air.
it push itself like
That's
it's
why the
hanging, like it could push it, like you
Exactly why
actually
the
lose
subs
some
are on
power.
the floor.
Don't act like your
Right.
sub's that hard, bro.
The subs.
Well, I don't hang hang my subs, so I don't know how sensitive this process
I'd be
is.
hanging my subs, dude.
that is a
my
good
subs
point.
are hung.
I like to put my sub at like 6.5 feet in the back
That's
left
right.
corner.
That's what I'm talking about.
Ring.
Shout out back left.
It's like
Shout out 6 feet.
It's like up here.
my subs are 6 feet above.
All right.
No,
well,
but I think that is one reason why the subs are usually on the floor and in front
don't
of
wanna
the
be
stadium
moving. Yeah.
or in front of the stage because they go against an immovable object into the
They're
crowd.
also slower.
Right.
Um,
But that is a good. What if you
Like if you
just
hung,
throw 20 hertz
Yeah.
out of a
It would
speaker
just-
at once? Just one. Just
yeah.
w-
It's got to
one
move
thing
a
go-
little bit, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be doing something.
That would,
Yeah.
I reckon, there would be some really weird bumps in the spectrum according to like the pendulum that you've attached it to, where it would resonate and where it would like deaden because of
Yeah.
how it's like rocking back and forth. I reckon you would get some really strange
This
response.
is nerdy ass talk right
can
now.
we just
Yeah.
set up a venue where all of the speakers are just swinging randomly
So retarded.
as you're playing?
You need to do like a
combing
Newton's
the whole
law
time.
chain of subs all triggering each other, where you see like they're all like moving and bouncing off each other.
They all have very
You need
specific
really
combs
big
that are
subs.
moving, so it doesn't seem like anything's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the insane questions you need to save for the Matt Davis episode.
Right.
You're
I
like, I had an
know.
idea,
Yeah.
and I want to hear your thoughts. And it's just like you're explaining the chain of subs
Could
all
we
hanging.
make a spaceship based on subs? Can I fly to space with the right frequency?
Yeah, can we use that?
Or you have like 4 speakers at the top of the venue, all placed in like a plus sign shape, and then those are on some super fast spinning thing. And you just play like a
Oh, I
single
see.
note, and
I
you
see
get
what you're
weird
talking about.
pitching.
Okay, so it's basically a Leslie speaker. It's just
Is
a
that a
big
thing?
Leslie speaker.
Leslie
Yeah, so
sub?
Yeah, like the rotary.
yes, it's basically a speaker that has like a big cage around it that spins. It's either that or the speaker spins. It depends on what kind of Leslie cab it
Can we
is.
buy one of those?
Yeah, they're just really expensive and old. They don't
Worth
make
it.
them anymore.
Oh, there's got to be a modern.
But they had like 2.
We could make one.
I think
Can we
at
make one?
Woodstock,
Fuck
like
yeah.
the 1968 Woodstock. What?
The good one.
Yeah, whatever the big one is. They had 2 like they were like 6 feet by 6 feet block Leslie speakers on stage that are they're just huge and they're
That's
just
kinda sick.
giant spinning speakers that are just for the organ. They're like
Maximum Doppler
but like
effect. That's
yeah,
sick.
so cool, dude. Because they're just mechanical.
I wanna
It's
do
just a
some cool stuff
mechanical
like
spinning
that.
speaker. It's so cool.
yeah.
And there's a couple guys I've seen, like some producers who are like, I bought this speaker, like, let's hook up a mic. And they're like, this is the coolest thing I've ever bought in my life. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? This thing spins. I can speed it up, slow it down. It changes it. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, to be fair, it's cool as fuck.
Sounds very buildable.
Damn.
Yeah.
I just saw.
Yeah, it's just a motor with a speaker.
try and
on
find
it.
a
It's
video.
like
And you can do it either way.
rod.
Again, you can move the cabinet around the speaker to
That's
change
cool.
where it's coming from, or you can move the cone. I feel like moving a box around the cone is just the easiest. It depends on how you want to rig the
depends how big the
motor.
box is, right?
For sure.
It's like,
for sure.
because then you would have to anchor the speaker.
Well, the hardest thing about spinning the speaker is you have to have almost a magnetic connector for the plus minus, because you can't have the wire connectors touching as it's spinning. Like they have to be on a magnetic strip.
Yeah,
just-
so because I
to
was worried
contact.
about anchoring in the middle. It's like you have to anchor the speaker to the base, and then but yeah, that makes way more
Yeah,
sense
I'm
because
pretty
the
sure-
wires can just be connected. Then
I'm pretty sure
yeah,
the
that makes
typical
sense.
the cabinet spins.
I bet nobody's thought about this
diagram.
since the 70s. We're the
Jared,
first
I
people to
also-
have this discussion since the 70s.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Let's see.
so this was
unit.
made on Microsoft Word.
I know, right? Oh, these are so cool.
These diagrams were probably made in the 60s.
Okay, so here, it's got 2 different. It's got a tweeter and a bottom. So
this
it's
one's using the-
okay.
it's
So yeah,
mic'd.
the speaker is staying still, and this drum has a hole in it, and that hole and it spins, and so you get
Yeah.
the stereo image every rotation. You get a glimpse
So cool.
And then
I
up
see.
here, there's 2 horns connected to that speaker, and they do the exact same thing.
So are the microphones a part of the circuit, or they're just like
They're
indicating that
they're
you will hear
static.
this?
Yeah, they're just you're gonna hear it from here and here because there's 2 bits for the tweeter and 1 for the.
Because that's what I would imagine would be the sort of excitement with this setup is that like no matter like any way you put this, it's going to react with the physical space differently. Like you're projecting this Doppler effect throughout the room, and it's going to bounce off that wall and that wall at different pitches, and the reflections you get are going to be really interesting in every single space. Like it has a really live effect.
Yeah.
So if there's
every
microphones involved, that's
person-
kind of dumb.
Dude.
But it's
Screaming at your phone screen right now, saying, "What is this madness? This is a 147."
Hang on, guys! It's coming.
through the-
It's coming through the TV
monitor.
right now.
yeah, I can imagine the mechanical headache of this though. Like as a
Oh.
company releasing this, just getting returns like, "Hey, everything with the wiring is fine, but the motor is busted" or
Screaming
something.
right now,
Right?
saying, "What is this madness? This is a 147."
Yeah, so you can see the
amplified
bottom
inside of a
cone.
122 cabinet.
Whoa, they got 2 and
There
they're.
is a tweeter up here. There is a woofer down here. And both
Did he
of them
intentionally throw a bone when he said woofer? That was the weirdest joke.
I didn't even catch that.
Hang on, we gotta go back with that.
This woofer.
He must feel so funny about that.
Don Leslie in 1956. It uses
56.
Yeah.
mechanical means to create the chorus effect. There are 2 speakers. There is a tweeter up here. There is a woofer.
Little Easter egg joke with a weird looking dog toy.
I can't handle that, dude.
Type of guy that buys a Leslie speaker is good.
That's crazy.
How many views are on this?
Oh, they spin in different directions, so there's no phase cancellation. That's fucking brilliant.
I never even thought. Wow.
That's so fucking smart.
I feel like
How
that
many
would add
views on
more
this video?
phase.
He's earned his woofer joke with that.
No, because they're never gonna match up. Because they're constantly moving at a slightly different direction to the atmosphere, so they're never going to line up. Like it's impossible.
I've never even.
Sound moves around the room. It quite literally
Sounds pretty boring to me. I'm just kidding.
Right, I know, right?
Jared, I also
Through it.
have a video to look up, Mr. Jared.
I feel like
So
just give me a sound through it. Oh my god!
oh yeah, give us the
Yeah,
sound.
so, yeah, that classic B3 organ sound. Whoa, that's fast. I never realized the top and the bottom were separate.
Right. They're
That's really
totally
cool.
separate.
Me either.
There was an era
they're
where it was
still in
really
time.
sick to go to
They're still in
church.
time. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, no, I would have. Actually, there were a
You're
lot
just
of
like,
eras,
They
honestly.
were wubbing it at
fucking-
church, dude.
Yeah.
Whoa,
The low frequency oscillation, dude.
Yes.
I mean, there was an era where they turned the entire building into an instrument, and that's pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Oh,
that's
I have to search it.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's
I
music.
figured you wanted to. I don't know.
I need help though. What is that sport called? Where
Lacrosse.
Oh, exactly.
You can't.
No.
It's you have like
Cricket.
they're like holding something and they spin in a circle and they just like huck
Oh,
something.
that's hammer throw
Hammer throw.
Or
or disc.
shot put.
shot
love-
put or discus.
Well, hammer throw would be the one with the
Discus
rope.
Is that
Yes.
popular in
Hammer throw,
Australia?
you're thinking of the guy with the JBL.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That
Let's
guy.
go.
Yeah, so
It's the first thing. Yeah.
yeah. So
Let's go.
Is this the?
That's the Doppler effect.
Yeah.
Nope.
yeah.
That's exactly what that is.
Okay, wait. That was a. God damn.
See, instead of
That was it.
buying Leslie speakers in
You gotta
2025,
click it.
we
You
just
gotta
get a
click
guy
it.
to throw a JBL.
Here you go.
It's almost creating. It makes me think. Is vibrato? Like, are we just emulating that?
Doppler is it's a type of vibrato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish
Vibrato
he-
is
oh,
just the
I wish he
pitch up
held
and
it
down.
for a little bit longer. I want to just. Can we make a video ourselves where we just
There
have
is
our
a
JBL?
video out there where it does it a little bit longer, I think.
You could very easily do this
Like,
at home, though, if you
yeah.
wanted to. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
just
Right?
set up a camera in the backyard
Oh, yeah.
and swing a speaker around.
Strap your phone up.
Speaker spinning, the Leslie speaker. The exact thing we just looked at.
open up Google tab. I need to look up speaker spinning.
Hang on, let me look at. Hang on, let me look at.
But that's all vibrato kind of is.
So vibrato.
But it's like advanced vibrato because it's not. No wait. No, it's just regular
You're
vibrato.
thinking kind of two different effects where in that video they're being combined. So the vibrato is the pitch up and down.
Which is Doppler.
You know? No.
Well,
Yeah.
Doppler is the
Doppler-
cause of the vibrato.
Yes.
So there's like physics
The
to the
Doppler,
vibrato.
the
Right.
Doppler effect is when something is redshifting away from you, it pitches down. As something blue
Because the waves are getting
phases
longer.
towards you,
Which is what's
it
happening with the
pitches up.
Speaker, though, right?
Right.
Yep.
So as it goes away, it
closer,
goes
further.
Yeah. It pitches up and down. But
Yeah.
it's also because it's on a speaker and it's getting farther away and closer, technically, it's vibratoing as well.
Yeah.
So it's like a blend of the two.
Isn't that just the same?
No. One is pitch and one is volume.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
That is probably partially part of the effect.
Yeah.
With Doppler in that context,
Yes.
like there
Yeah.
probably is a slight volume wiggle as well.
Right. It's the Doppler.
And actually,
right,
yeah,
right.
and singers also in terms of like, I guess when you're adding pressure with your diaphragm, you're probably raising your pitch and pushing more volume out of your voice. So yeah, there probably is a bit of vibrato that also involves volume in the vocal context.
Interesting.
So I can see that, but yeah, in the pitch context, yeah, actually probably both. I feel like in different ways there probably is both volume
kind
and
of
pitch.
doing both at the exact same time, just especially when it comes to that speaker spinning, because just the inherent physics of it.
That's fun.
We've
That
gotten
is-
to
this is-
some like really deep and important topics.
I was about to say, I'm actually very enriched that we talked about this. This is like the nerdy shit that I enjoy
Yeah,
thinking about. It's like
thanks.
we've been
live.
physical sound space and talked about phase. And I
the
love
phase
this
line
shit.
is-
I mean, it's a thing that Nick from Noisy brings up all the time is the physicality of what we're trying to do. Because again, we're producers and we're dealing with speaker cones. We're not dealing with like, oh, I play a saxophone and we're just trying to like jive between me and the drummer.
Yeah.
In terms of the like, we're just trying to jive. Like, no, like we're dealing with the science of what the cone can reproduce. So we have to
Yeah.
think about those things.
And when you start thinking about this and then start thinking about it on a scale of like a big ass venue like Mission Ballroom or whatever venue, you think about like, how do I literally warp the molecules in the air to like
Whoa.
just bend the room in weird ways? And then
Cook in
you
the room.
get to noisy level shit.
I will microwave the womb.
Yeah.
Microwave.
The womb.
The room.
That's what's like crazy is like from a band perspective, like I was literally just in this like some friends were doing some sound. Ooh, sorry,
Jesus.
that was for dramatic effect. That helped. Just don't think
You're
too
right,
hard
it
about
did.
it. Some friends were doing sound literally for like an orchestra in a cathedral. And I've never heard anything like it. And I think it's just the complexity of the space. You're like physically placing all these different, not only across the spectrum, like you're taking elements that are different across the spectrum and also placing them in different spots across the room.
Yeah.
The complexity of that science, it's like if you're a jammer or an instrumentalist, there's no way you can calculate that mentally. Be like, yeah, if I just like stand 2 meters closer to this wall, then everyone's going to enjoy my performance a lot
I mean,
more.
I
Like
will
you-
now.
yeah, but now that we're crunching the numbers.
Yeah.
But there are numbers to be crunched there.
Correct.
But I think now it's that it's simplified and we have the ability to think about it as producers. We're dealing with,
Yeah.
The same mechanism of like a single speaker delivering everything. Whereas like if you're an instrumentalist, you are dealing with a much more complex room, but it's just like you're already thinking about all this physical shit and like having to like physically, there's like so many other variables that you just don't have the like capacity to calculate that. But that is a whole thing. And it would be cool to see, just to extend my thought, like it'd be cool to see a spot where we start thinking about like physically putting stuff in a room.
I mean,
Right.
we've been talking about setting up a bunch
cactus.
of speakers in a space that have like sections for different portions of whatever music's being made in that space. And then you can kind of like, one person can be over here on the drums and it's like an array of different like speakers pointing in different directions and shit.
Yeah.
Or like just setting up, I mean, ideally at some point we'd like to have a venue. In the venue, set up a bunch of fucking weirdly placed speakers and then have producers come in to just like make specifically music for the room.
For those speakers that they chose.
Which every
Yeah, that's
producer's
fun.
going to be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll come do that.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like to. I would like to do this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially after a couple have already came, and you're like, oh, I have to work with what everybody's already kind of done and put into these speakers, and I have to use these 10 to my disposal. Like
A couple already came for sure.
yeah, I would love to come where others came.
Yeah. We
all do.
Yeah, we all come in the same spot at some point. I like that.
Lightning doesn't strike the same spot twice, but cum does.
Yes.
All right, can we bring back the lightning round segment? I have questions.
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah, I forgot this is a thing. I like this.
So
I mean, it wasn't-
hasn't been a thing?
Yeah, we kind of killed it.
Did we do it with you
We
on the
did,
last
yeah,
one?
when I was yeah.
Well, that was a while ago.
So you were probably one of the last things
one.
because we
I
haven't
realized
done
that.
it in
We haven't
so
done it in
long.
like a year.
And then John
I feel like
brought it
I
up.
was an era now.
I know,
I was
I
an
know.
era.
Well, because we
I was
kind
a
of
bricked
switched.
up era.
Yeah, it was. I kind of switched to bringing TikToks into the table, and we'd like watch a TikTok and then talk about it. But I haven't had a couple
TikTok,
in a minute.
TikTok about it.
Now that I think about it, I had some Instagrams I wanted to talk about. We can talk about them on another episode.
Okay.
All right, so it looks like we have a couple questions from Twitter here.
4 questions.
Excuse me.
Everybody just answer in like a short spurt. Unless you really feel the need, you can dive in. But lightning round questions.
Okay, I see.
And
I
then
see.
we're done.
Yes, and then we're done. We've already been live for an hour and a half.
Has it been an hour and a half?
It's
Holy
been
shit.
nearly when we started.
Well,
8?
it was supposed to. Yeah, supposed to start at 7:30, and it started like just before 8.
Nearly 2 hours.
We've been killing it.
An hour and 45.
Shit.
We're killing it.
Vibe.
If
Solid
you
episode.
and I'm not going to go first. We're going to start with Austin. He's going to
Not
answer
every
first.
time.
Sure,
I like it.
that's fine. But for this first question, start with you and come back to me.
Cool.
If you produced a song using only songs from a specific movie, what movie would that be?
You
I love
produced
this
a-
question, Twitter.
I bet
Thank
you do.
for
Wow.
adding this question.
It's almost like
That's
you
a
wrote
like
it.
ask
Genius
and come
question.
back 3 days later
If
type
you
question.
produced
Yeah.
a song using
only songs
Samples.
from a.
My bad. I fucked that up.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay.
Only
Only
samples
I mean,
from
Twitter
a specific
fucked
movie.
that up.
Get it right,
Not me.
Twitter.
Yeah, sorry.
Jesus, Twitter, X. Jesus.
I would sample.
Only
Samples
sampling.
from
Oh, yeah,
movies?
okay. Only samples from specific movies.
I don't know. My first thought is Avatar.
Of course, that's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's rich.
Yeah, there's a
That
lot of
sounds cynical.
fun stuff.
It's good.
Sci-fi and organic and ambience.
Right, right.
I think I can work with all
I'm
that.
surprised you didn't say Transformers.
Oh
There's some
fuck!
sound of that.
Can't take it back. Can't take it back. Next,
Actually, yeah, think about your
Alex?
answer.
Yeah. Like, I'm honestly just gonna go with Star Trek.
yeah.
I
love
like
it.
I
That-
like
that
I
was
like
gonna
that
be
it's
my
kind of goofy and a little bit shit. Like I want to work
I
with
like
something
that.
a bit silly.
That
And a
little bit of
bit
shit.
Let's go.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So I like to like side theory that a Wes Anderson film probably has a good variety of shit to sample. He always does interesting shit, but my favorite film is Blade Runner, and a big reason is the aesthetic.
Yes.
And
I mean,
yes, to sample that film would
Yes.
just tickle all of my pickles.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I have many of them.
All three
To
of
be-
your pickles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Three's.
I have
just the
no
beginning.
answers anymore. You guys both
Yeah.
used the 2 options I had.
Yeah, great. Blade Runner would be good.
Blade Runner's fire.
I'm thinking Schindler's List, probably.
Ooh.
Oh, I've never
I
seen
haven't
it.
seen that.
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
actually haven't seen it either. But I know
It's probably
terrible.
good. It's probably great. Yeah.
Probably has a good sound design.
I like the shot in the dark.
As
I'd sample like an Adam Sandler movie.
I think
you
it
know.
works as producers, we can have a cursory knowledge of whatever movie and be like,
Yeah,
it's
you're
probably got
general
good
about-
sounds.
Yeah.
Like, we're probably like, I can make them work.
I go with the list.
All right, Club.
I'm gonna go with Blade.
Really?
No runner.
Blade.
Yeah,
No
dude,
runner.
all the
up, Blade.
vampire sounds.
No, it's good. That's
I mean,
good.
come on, all the technos, fucking scenes and sounds, all this
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
like,
Every
True.
good
Actually, I haven't seen that either.
songs.
dude, come on.
Worth downloading all the audio from one of those. And
I will
making a
say
song.
an honorable mention is Interstellar.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sure.
They're not very sound designing.
Exactly.
They're
The only-
it's all
the only-
orchestration.
Not only that, but the sound design is super tactical. Like if you
Oh,
listen
yeah,
to all
yeah.
the computer sounds, they're all mechanical. They're all like
Oh.
like really switchy and like all the like Like
can
every
make a
time they
Mr.
push
Bill
some
tune.
buttons.
Right up your alley.
Right. They're all very tactile,
Nice.
which is nice.
Love it.
All right, next question. I'll go on this one. If you could download all the knowledge from a producer to your brain, who?
I think that's a great question from Twitter. I
Yeah,
don't know
it's
what
an
you're talking
obvious
about.
question. Nick from Noisia. There's
that's
no.
pretty good.
I don't need any other fucking.
Let's go reverse also.
Yeah,
Reverse.
right,
Wait,
right.
put me at the end. I've endorsed High Noon too much in this podcast.
Yeah, Nick from Noisia.
I only get to-
banger.
I
thought
have a
Noisia
number
too.
2. I have a number 2.
Oh, give
but
us your 2. Give us your 2.
I'm gonna be Gove from
Gove? Who's that?
Ivy Lab.
Oh. Oh, shit. Get a little Gove download, a little Ivy Lab download.
Either
This is
Gove
so
or Nick.
hard.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I know. Okay, we can all say 2 then, if we have to.
I mean, there's Fortet. There's like destroyers out there that are just pretty
Dude,
obvious.
I would like to download
17-year-old
juice.
trap kids.
I get to download one person's juice.
There's kids in Russia that don't know that Noisia exists, and they
You wanna
have
take a
a
sec?
cracked Ableton.
I'm gonna say, Jonesy.
Ooh,
Really?
Cigaros.
Interesting. I would
Jonesy
not
or
have guessed
Cigaros.
that.
that's
I think I'll get some unique shit out of that
Yeah. You
would.
one.
Wait, that's
interesting.
not one dude though. That's like a bunch of dudes.
No, the one guy.
The main guy.
Cigaros?
Jonesy, the guy
Is he
Jonesy.
Yeah, he's the main guy from.
He's the main guy.
Oh,
From,
okay. Is he the singer as well, or is the sing? Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't
Also-
really see because I've seen Cigaros and there's like 3 or 4 of them. And,
This is
Yeah.
the same Jonesy that worked with How to Train Your Dragon,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
show.
I didn't even know that.
So-
That so checks
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, it tracks.
Yeah.
It tracks.
I love that song, honestly, way more than I should.
I mean,
love
it's
it
one
so
of the
much.
best animated movies
Thank you.
that there is.
It's so good.
Yeah, I hear that.
Which they're about to ruin it with
I
the
know.
live action.
There's
Moving
a-
on.
There's a sick video of him like in Abbey Road, like, and he's hitting the faders on the mixer, and it's like he'll hit a fader, and it's like bzzz, it's like bees.
Super buzz.
I was gonna say
like literally
it's
the
just
sound
like
of
an earth
bees.
hum, like he's
And,
just
like,
hitting your
weird- yeah,
face.
he's
It's
got,
like a
like,
channel's
weird-
disconnected.
Honestly, I would love that juice on my track. Just a little bit of track.
The guy
noise.
knows how to sauce some shit up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
And I would
that's
like to
odd.
learn that.
Yeah.
All right, Andre, what you got?
Well, you said Nick Ruse, right? Okay. Actually, what is it specifically about Nick Ruse? I've started to make everybody listen to the repetition. I'm really curious. I want to know.
The drums.
The drums, yeah.
The
I hear that.
way he thinks and processes his drums. I did like
Which one is Nick again?
Nick's the bald one.
Baldwin. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's two
I love
bald
him.
ones.
He's my.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's two-
He's the taller.
He's the bald one with
he's
the pretty
taller
blue
one.
eyes.
Yes, he's the
The one
taller.
that does the majority of the
He's the more
videos for
handsome.
their
yes,
Patreon.
yes. He's
Okay,
not,
he's my favorite.
He's not Martine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mud.
Yeah. Which
I do like Martine also.
I love Martine.
I like all three.
He
but-
has, I think, more vibe than either one of them in terms of like if you listen to his stuff that he does on his own, it's got more juice than both of them in terms of like the soul. But Nick, like his production, it sounds
It's fun.
All
Like,
of his
it's
every
real.
project he's
Like, it's
involved in sounds
front of
fucking
you.
good.
It's
Is he-
incredible?
is he also SleepNet?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Body Ocean.
Yeah, and Body Ocean.
You know Body Ocean?
Yeah.
Dude,
It's Nick Ruse. How
fucking
can I not?
Body
Yeah.
Ocean is. So
And he's got us.
sick.
He's got a new project with Former now as well. He's full of sauce,
that?
man.
What is that
His Sleepnet album with there's some really banger tracks. I agree
Yeah.
with that. He wasn't my pick, but he
Great
yeah,
pick.
He's oh my god, his
Who
stuff
is your
with
pick?
Former. I know it's generic, but Skrillex, like he.
I don't blame him.
I mean, like as an yeah, well, as an as an electronic producer, he's brilliant, and obviously, I would love to get into the like 2010 2011 phase of his brain and be like, where did you know, like the sound design, because apparently that was Noisy influence, but also just his musicianship, like he's like his from first to last era, his ear for melody, the way he writes his melodies, like there's a lot of juice to come out of Sonny
So
Moore.
much.
And he's learned everything from everybody.
yeah, exactly.
He knows everybody.
Yeah.
I would honestly just like love to see a full documentary of him. I'm sure there's probably like fragments of this that exist, but he just continues to write this really great storyline
know,
with his
dude.
career.
Yeah.
I have so much admiration for him, and I don't resonate. Like I think all his music is amazing, but like the 2011 era for me was obviously like the big. Like I was a bro step kid, but I still have this like ongoing respect for him with each era he goes through, where I'm like, holy shit, you just did another really
How
cool
did you
thing.
do another dope thing again?
Yeah. It's always
That's so
cool.
nice to
He
hear.
does it over
That's
and
so
over
nice
again.
to hear.
It's true.
I feel enriched to see someone just continually do something that cool with their career. I feel like there was a phase around 2015 to 2017 where I had this idea that like everyone who was cool eventually just washes up and loses touch. And then more
feel like we
recently,
were
all
talking
of those
about that
dudes
just
came
the other
back.
day.
Nick Ruse is a great example.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
came back and just like continued to do really insane shit.
Fortet as well. Like not
Yeah.
like he fell off, but Sonny was like, "Hey, does anybody know how cool this guy is?" And everybody was like, "Oh yeah,
Well,
we kind of forgot. That's,
Yeah.
that's kind of our fault." And now he's back on top.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
It's
Option
awesome.
4, Brendan, I was like saying like props for Skrillex to fucking bring Fortet on the road with him, blah 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 blah.
And Fred again. What a weird mix, but sick.
Weird mix too, yeah. But like option 4 was so
Yeah, he was immediately
so,
like,
perturbed by the idea that Skrillex was doing a favor for Fortet.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Fortet is the shit.
That's funny,
He was so mad at that idea in general. It's like, but
in
he
the
did,
mainstream,
though.
kind of, yeah.
He
But
did,
honestly,
though.
shout out Brennan for bringing that up. If anyone wants to watch that, it's the Option 4 episode. Like,
Yeah.
you can see Brennan be like, hold
Wait, yeah,
the fuck up.
yeah.
Oh, that
Like,
was
Yeah, but episode
that was
here.
a oh right,
Yeah.
It was a-
in the basement,
It was,
actually.
it was so great.
a couple
it was
years
so
ago.
great.
sick.
Right.
What
All
you
right,
got,
Alex.
buddy?
All right. Okay, so I think one, I'm just going to say
This is a
Tipper.
lightning round.
Tipper. Okay.
Tipper.
You're about
Oh.
to get into Austin
Nice.
Pants.
Yeah.
He's got a noteworthy career. He's been gone for a long time.
yeah, so long. Yeah,
Fuck,
it was
that
just an
makes me
early
think of
favorite.
Other people.
I mean,
yeah.
California Rolls is one of my favorite songs ever, and that's like 2003 Tipper.
That's
Super
go.
old.
So
super old.
Tipper.
I can't really think of a second other than, like, obviously there's Nick, but on top of that, like, Mephius.
Yeah, he's done
Matthews
some
is-
I would
magic.
download
German
Mephius.
Nick. Yeah.
I
yeah.
watched a couple of Matthews videos today.
Yep.
He recently started streaming again.
Shut
Oh,
out.
shit, really?
Yeah, he started streaming
There's a
and
couple
doing
like 20-minute ones on YouTube right now.
Yeah, they're goated. Go
They're
watch
very
them.
good, yeah.
Go watch them now. They're from like a couple weeks ago. They're so good.
Swag.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Banger,
the boss.
banger answers. My two answers were both already said. The Tipper, without a doubt, is number one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I need to know. I need just like fucking something from him before he retires. I want to start a petition and
Make
like hit
him-
up all
have
of the
him make a
Tipper scene
Patreon.
friends.
Like, why he
No,
doesn't
he's not
have
going
a-
to do that. What
So
we need?
weird.
The
He
one
won't,
thing
but
he
he
might
should.
do.
Yeah.
If we can get a petition going, we just get him on Bill for an hour. Just to talk about it, doesn't even maybe even have to be production, but like
So
I don't know, if we could
ridiculous.
just get something.
So ridiculous to be that level
He's
of a
in Denver.
producer and not be down to
is.
just
I
talk
know.
about production. It's
Yeah.
so weird to me. Like
Who's
I
your
get.
second?
Oh yeah, who's
sorry.
your second? No,
My
you're good.
second was Skrillex.
Felix.
Nah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Oh yeah.
Insane
I'm
answer.
gonna
Like
throw out
the
my
dude.
second right now.
Yeah.
Justin Vernon.
Oh
No
yeah,
way.
that's so good. That's so
great
good.
one.
Hallelujah.
That's a great
That was
one.
actually a
What
really
a
good
legend.
answer. Yeah.
Not Kanye.
Not Kanye.
Justin Vernon.
I made that sound comical. Actually, did you say Kanye?
I said not Kanye.
I would say Kanye as well.
Okay.
Honestly,
Oh man, that no
In
man,
like
we're
a
digging
weird
deep.
way, Kanye for sure.
I
still have respect for Kanye,
But
even with
I'd-
all the fried shit he
I'd
does.
rather
He's so brilliant.
I'd
He's so
rather
brilliant.
see Jay
Jay-Z?
Dilla
Jay
than
Dilla. Oh fuck.
than Kanye. Even though
Damn, we're getting deep now. This is
even
too
though the-
much. Too many options.
Dilla's a little
question.
more disconnected in terms of our modern style of production than Kanye is. Like,
Dilla?
yeah, like I feel
It's
like you
because he's so influential. I think he really.
right.
Oh,
but it'd be harder. It'd be harder to translate the ideas from Dilla than it would be from Kanye, because Kanye works
yeah.
in the box, where
No,
Dilla didn't.
I don't know. I disagree.
No, we're
Some
so.
of Kanye shit, like honestly, like I don't. That's not even like my scene at all. Like I listen to a little bit of hip hop and rap and shit, but like I do hear Kanye and consistent. I'm like, oh, you're still pushing the boundaries, and like I mean,
Right, but he's in the
Dilla
box.
was, but What do you mean in the box?
He's in the box. He's in the DAW. He'd be able to talk to us like we're talking right now.
I thought you were talking about a bigger...
No. I'm talking he works in the box as in he works in the DAW. He's not using a bunch of external shit. Where J Dilla was working on like the 1600. He was sampling the old school way, so it'd be harder for us to like relate with the way he produces.
Yeah.
Because he'd be like, oh, I can push my snares 4 milliseconds every time, and we're like, all right, it takes me a second to get my brain around that. Where with Kanye, he could say like, oh, I just throw in a delay or whatever, and he's like, oh, it's all in the box, and we can kind of relate to it a little bit more. Where J Dilla is much more analog in terms of how he worked, so it'd be a little bit more of a language barrier.
This is a huge can of worms
Love
for
it.
me. Like,
It's a huge can of worms.
in an exciting way. I love talking about this shit.
Way.
But like,
In a great way.
Kanye, I mean, being alive still probably helps a little bit. But
He fucking worships the fucking the swastika. It'd be just the same.
Yeah, like J Dilla would also have like a crash era. Everyone's like, what the fuck is he talking about? But okay, I agree. Kanye's fucking brilliant. They're actually both brilliant. I love Kanye's connection with his brand. Kanye, like, and even to the death of it, I love that how committed he is as a symbol. He actually really embodies that. So there's something beyond musicality, which I mean, everything is in some sort of gradient way connected to music.
Right.
I think like Kanye has a real deep connection with his brand. He knows what he's representing, and he's also insane. And I'm not going to defend everything he's done, but
too, but in a different way.
Dilla was very raw. I actually think I wasn't. I was fucking 8 years old when Dilla died. So I can't be like but like Dilla, I feel like he used such a huge influence on Kanye as well. So it's really hard to compare the two because I think there's like, even particularly in our scene, like bass music, the like relationship with rhythm that we have now is actually very dependent on J Dilla. Like he maybe had some influences with jazz and stuff, but I think his sound was such an anomaly for the time, whereas Kanye has almost sort of graduated with the times, continued to use the times in a way where he's actually like, I guess like taking the tropes of the time and using that to his advantage. Like he's kind of always making statements based on what people react to. Whereas Dilla was like this anomaly where he is like creating music that everyone was like, what the fuck? I want to sound like this guy. People want to sound like Kanye, but it's because Kanye is taking tropes that people recognize and going like,
and are already there.
He's making statements. Yeah. So I'm not trying to be critical, but almost like they're both really exciting pillars of music.
They're also different because J Dilla stopped. I mean, he died, but because that stopped,
he quit, dude.
Yeah, he fucking quit.
Gave
dude.
up on music.
Pussy. Fucking quitting ass quitter.
Where is he now? Where is he now?
Dude. No, but because he stopped, he lives in this kind of resin or this amber where like we can't relate him to anything else. Like it's impossible. Like he might have done the same thing that Kanye did. We can't.
Yeah.
Like you almost have to relate him more to like a Biggie in terms of the art because they both stopped.
Yeah.
At like similar-esque times.
Or even like a Hendrix, a Jimi Hendrix, where he just gets cut off so early. Like,
right.
Like because he was 27 Club guy, right? So imagine like
Dilla was.
No, Hendrix.
Hendrix 27. Dilla was.
So imagine like
Hendrix
he would probably be one of those guys who just kept making art until he was like 50 or something.
Maybe.
Like maybe.
Or
like,
he might have died a year later.
Would he have gotten better? Would he have matured more?
Yeah.
Would he have gotten worse? Like was his peak there? And like maybe it's better that it just got completely halted.
Well,
Did he kill himself?
No.
He overdosed.
Yeah, he
quote unquote. We'll leave it there.
There's documentaries on that.
For sure.
Yeah.
It actually leads us into the next question, which is a very conspiratorial question.
We are in the lightning round.
We are.
We found a can of worms in the lightning round, and I've had 6 high noons, so you're in danger. I would like to say just a final statement on that whole thing because no one's ever opened that can of worms before, and I'm on fucking. I have a Patreon, so it's okay. If Dilla was still alive, I think Kanye would outlive Dilla in terms of relevance.
I agree.
Kanye
I agree.
is very in tune with statement pieces.
As a pure artist, I would
Damn.
100%
As a pop
agree.
star.
Yes, correct.
That's
As a
crazy.
pop star.
Dilla is an era. Kanye
Right.
is like a, I don't know. He's an
also
artist in
Dilla-
a piece, kind of. I don't know. Yeah.
Dilla is more like fucking Dre than he is like
Correct.
Kanye.
Correct.
Yeah.
Ooh,
He's
okay.
more
Yeah.
like Dre than he's 50 Cent.
Yes.
He's not
Yeah.
a front facing. He's more of a shaker and mover on the background.
Yeah.
Like if
yeah.
if Jay Dilla had persisted to now, I think the SoundCloud era would have looked way different.
Oh, that's interesting.
way
Yeah.
different.
It's not
But,
like,
yeah, but
that's-
Kanye
you're copying
wouldn't
a
have
guy that's
gotten
still
booked
alive.
at a Tipper event. Dilla 10,000.
Is that what John
that's so
said?
true.
Dilla would have
Yeah.
been booked at a Tipper
That's
event.
because Kanye would have gotten on the mic. Salty take right
Yeah,
there.
and Midas.
Oh, he wants too much attention.
It's true.
yeah.
But that's what makes a good pop star.
Yeah.
So then also, does it make a good artist to try and be with the times and develop with the times and go with the things that are happening?
I don't
All the
know.
Or is it cooler
all the
to go
versions
against
are
it?
good.
Yeah, I agree. It's a broad spectrum. They
It's
all have different
100%.
effects.
There's different
they're all
avenues.
perfectly wonderful and fine.
I love them all.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Great answer.
All right, next lightning round question.
Leads us that oddly leads us
I
right
want a
into
cigarette, Loki.
this. What's an speaking of cigarettes? What's an overrated production trend you would banish, Austin?
Oh, you would banish?
What's an overrated
I think Dave should
production
start
trend?
this one.
Okay,
Fuck.
Dave. What's an overrated production trend that you would banish?
Thank you, Twitter. Banger question.
It's X now.
X.
Actually.
Actually.
Actually,
You want some time? You got one, Andre? Let's give you-
I'm digging deep on
I'm
this
trying
one.
to find it,
I'm
too.
very holistic. Like
I
everything
need
that
to
sounds
actually
good
try
is
and
good.
find this.
Well, if anyone has one, just send it. Because
I know I know there's one.
Oh, I got one.
Okay, go.
I got one. I'm about to shit on a whole scene, and I'm sorry, but the entire color base wave.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think it should be banished. I think that's a little extreme, but
Well,
then you missed it.
no, actually, never mind. I
Just
retract
kidding.
my whole statement.
yeah, fuck
because
that
I
guy
like
that
that.
wrote that question.
They are doing a really cool thing where they're doing like auto tune to the highest potential with
Right.
bass music, which is
Right.
actually really cool.
Right.
Now that
It's
I
a
think
very
about
specific niche.
it just in my mind it all fucking sounds like the exact same tone.
Spectral.
I say that as I make the same exact squonk as everyone else in my scene.
It's
But-
every scene, dude. I make the same wubs and
True.
and horns.
Rock?
Have you heard of the guitar?
Rock and roll.
Have you heard of the snare drum ever before?
You didn't use a fucking snare in your song, did you? Dude, everyone does that.
yeah, dude, boo. Kick snare
next-
pattern.
I'll
Okay.
go. I'll go.
Oh, you have one. Wow.
Yeah, I'll go.
What you got?
Okay.
Super fucking bright mixes.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually do love a damp mix. That sounds pretty
I'm
sick.
fucking over it.
It's a Dilla mix.
There's a couple instances that are related to me at the moment,
Yeah.
but I like a dark, like, well, it doesn't have to be super dark, but you don't have to make the bright section of like the hi-hats 20K to 7K. There can be some combing in there. It can be like bright and not so bright and a little bit bright and a little bit not so bright. Like it doesn't have to be like a shelf that is just pushing the high end so that it's just wash up into 7K and then down. And then you have, you know, your thing. That's just my hot take. I'm getting really tired
I'm
of like
with
the
you. That was
smiley
great.
face.
I'm with you.
The smiley face is starting to drive me nuts.
Yeah.
I agree that like busy, like density is the same as volume. Like
Right.
if you have a lot of stuff going on in your high end, you don't need it to be loud.
Right,
Like
you
you
can
can actually
compensate.
knock it down and you'll still get that same effect of like it feels bright without it needing to be cranked.
Because of the intrigue.
Right.
I mean,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
another thing that I saw a guy talk about the newest Skrillex mixtape slash album is he's like, if you notice, it's not super bright in terms of the overall amplitude. Like the whole thing isn't shelved brightly. But
Specifically
all-
with the basses and melodic components,
just
right?
in general.
Oh,
the
just in
whole
general.
thing, like if you
Okay.
look at it on a spectrum, it's not like what you would considered super bright. It's level-esque, but it's not like as level as what you would assume from 2020. What like a flat like 4.5% curve, you know. He said he kind of saw and kind of diagnosed more of the transients that are bright. So it's small, short, fast moments that give you the brightness, and everything else is more damped and tame, which I fucking love. It sounds so good. It sounds much more tactile and more in your face, and it kind of gives a little bit of a pop vibe to like the drums because all the transients are super bright, but the drums aren't at the same time, which it's kind of a hard balance. I've been kind of messing with it over the
you have been messing with it?
Yeah, I've been trying to
Nice.
make my transients brighter with like weird tricks of white noise and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I like it, especially on like a snare drum, because your snare, a lot of people use the RL snares in the universe that we live in that are just, you know, and it's just like 3/4 of it is white noise. Yeah. Where if you make it more dark, but you keep the transient super bright, it I don't know, it just seems more acoustically real to me, because in a room the high end is going to disperse, so you're going to get more of what Nick would call the physicality of the drum. You're going to more the transient or more the fundamental in the transient,
Right.
which will include the top end all the way down.
And
I'm for it.
It goes hand in hand with that concept that Bill put us onto when we went to his live thing like 5 years ago or whatever,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
where he was talking about louder for longer kind of concept. And
Shout out Duffy.
Shout out, yeah, he talked about that.
That's right.
He also threw out the louder for longer.
he did. We're bringing it back just because it fits perfect in this moment. So the example that Bill used was he had like a white noise sample that played for like 5 seconds or whatever. And we were on a big ass system. We were like at some venue or something. And he was like, all right, guys, prepare your ears. I'm going to play this 5-second noise sample. And it's going to be loud as fuck. And he played it. And everyone was like, oh, my
Wait, did
God,
this
my
at a
ears.
gig?
No. It was like
at
a,
like a
Oh, I thought that
it
was
was like a
like a
Sunday
workshop.
school type thing that you did.
It
Yeah,
was at
yeah.
KMG Studios.
Yeah,
Shout
KMG.
out.
shout out KMG in Boulder.
And he played the whole long thing, and everyone was like, "Oh fuck, you suck, Bill! Like, why did you do that to us?" And then he was like, "Okay, now watch if I make it just like a little transient, like a hi hat would be."
5 milliseconds, and
Yeah.
it's like 20 dB louder.
And he turned up the volume, and he was like, "Didn't seem as loud, right?"
Right.
So that concept where it's like, if you're only making your transients super super bright and punching in your face for a moment, it gives this like weird illusion of like your high end is present even though there's a lot of space. It's like coming back to the high end. And he was relating that, actually funny enough, to like subs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
But it
that's a whole
relates
nother
across the
topic, but-
spectrum.
Fat subs.
It for sure relates across the spectrum, and especially to transients.
Yeah.
Because you can have a snare that will pop or not pop depending on just those first 5 milliseconds on how bright or dark or how intense or how frequency packed they are, how fast the sweep is. you
And in
know?
relationship to the tail as well.
For
like
sure,
if your
yeah,
snare
for
is really
sure.
bright in 3K in the transient and then not in the tail, it's not going to feel like that. But then if your snare is like 3K all the way through, it's going to feel super dominant. And then you drop that 3K off in the transient, it's still going to feel 3K dominant because of the tail, just like how long
Right.
you spend in each domain of the frequency spectrum.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And
There's the weird.
heavily related to the rest of the sounds in the song. Like, are they all
Right, no, for sure.
So
re bright?
that was just one answer.
really?
That was one answer.
So
to
my
the
Parker's from
question.
Colorado. It's
Yeah,
fine.
that is
Could we
my
also-
one answer to that question. Sorry,
So
guys.
let's also flip the question. If nobody can give
Wait.
like, I want to banish it something. What's something you're like supportive of?
Wait, why are we adding
actually-
questions?
We're not.
are-
We're still in the one
I
question.
do have an answer to the original question. It took
Me
me, a
too.
really long
Me
time
too.
to crunch one. I feel
Okay,
like you're ready to
cool.
go.
Here's my answer.
Answer it.
Stop. It's a trendy thing within production. Releasing tunes before you're good at making music.
Wow. All right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shit!
So how long?
Fuck you.
How long? What do you?
Yeah.
If you could give an average time frame, how long should you wait until you start releasing?
I mean, just get confirmation from people that are good at it that it's good.
Okay, fair.
First.
Big sheesh.
That's better than a time frame for sure.
I like this take. It's a hot take.
I'm tired of listening to ass music. I don't know. It's just is what it is.
Especially on like a label that you're like, oh, they've been around. And then you're like, what is this? You're assaulting my ears.
I would really like art to be like really good.
Yeah,
like
I do agree.
often.
I do agree.
Really good, and
Like,
it tends to not be that way.
I agree that people should be able to speak their art and like make whatever the fuck they want. But if you're an established taste collector and propagator, you should keep that bar pretty high, I think.
I do think it's like kind of a dumb question, but that's my answer.
Okay, I like that answer. Andre, it's your
I
turn.
missed the last 30 seconds of that dialogue thanks to High Noon.
High noon.
Our sponsor this week, folks.
I actually am just making all the questions longer with all of my opinions. But I actually am heavily opposed to that notion. When I started, thought I was really good when I started making music.
Cool.
And so I released a bunch of stuff, and the like 5 listens that I got motivated me to release another thing, and I would not be here today without that. So I think there's going to be a lot. It means a lot of shit music will be released.
Sure.
But that's the stepping stone to good music being released. Is like somebody needs to like promote their shit and think they're good.
Is it the only stepping
Perhaps.
stone?
That is a good point.
I'm just like, this is like
totally
contrasting
agree with you,
to.
by the way. I'm just being an asshole on purpose.
I kind of like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Devil's advocate. Devil's advocate. Because there is something to be said for
Release
just
all
like.
the fucking ass music. I mean, you gotta fucking put your hand on a
I
thing
released a
and
lot
then
of bad
make
music.
a turkey. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I always had the goal
call
of
it art.
sounding amazing and being as cool as all the people I looked up to. So I think in the back of my mind, I was like, I am really good for where I'm at.
Yeah.
Even though I was shit. But like, I'm really good for where I'm at, but I'm not as good as the people I look up to. So there's definitely like this philosophical kind of like counterweight to that, where it's like you have to have a goal. So if you're like, oh, I'm perfect and I sound amazing and like I have my own sound, I don't need to sound like anybody else, and you're just releasing trash, you probably need somebody to be like, yeah, like, well, at least I don't like it, you know, like many people to be honest with you.
Right.
But yeah, I think there's like some sort of like I do think playing devil's like advocate there is actually like a good strategy, because I think like,
it's fun.
Yeah. Anyway, I won't spiel any further because
No,
I
it's-
could get deep on it.
I actually fully agree with you. I just don't think I couldn't find like an actual producer trend that I think should like go away. Honestly, your answer was maybe my favorite out of all the things I could possibly think of. Is like stop using whatever that fucking plugin that makes it.
Yeah, the pitch map.
Yeah, trends.
But I think
Pitch
there
map,
is
right.
like a good point of like, if you're trying to release like professionally, or you're just trying to release. Like, I think there was a good era when SoundCloud was like big, where people are like, oh, this is where we just like release just the stuff I'm working on. And then there were like professional, like, oh, like this is where I go to release an EP that gets printed to a CD, or like a dub plate, you know, and there's like 2 different universes you can play in, and one is a little more professional than the other. Not that that needs to be the thing, but I just like, it's kind of a fun place where you can kind of like, you can play around in a playground, and then when you're like, this is actually done and I feel good about it, I can release it.
Yeah, I guess we're digging into the realm of like when you get rewarded for making something, in terms of like you can put enough promo and advertising into something where a complete piece of shit song can get a whole bunch of listens, versus something that's like, and like my experience was the SoundCloud era, which was a little bit more organic, where it was like if you made something good, people would find it and listen to it. Whereas nowadays it's so saturated that like there's some amazing music just being buried, and there's some really trash music just being promoted, and you kind of want to level out those people where it's like, okay, you have like this insane amount of followers and platform, and you are not even really being criticized on the fact that your music kind of is exactly. You're doing everything except making good
Hustling
music.
works.
Yeah.
I will
That's
say
rough.
one thing
That's something.
I'm super jealous of with the people who came up in like the SoundCloud era shit is like it seemed like a lot of people would just like make a song that day and release it and not think about it that much and maybe take it down or something. Whereas like now, or at least like maybe this is just my mentality, like me making music and coming up. I was like so hesitant to release always because I was like way too fucking critical or like blah blah blah. But I wish I had those moments where I would just like I wish I would have released more the first like 5 years I made stuff. Even if I took it down
Me
now,
too
like,
ish, but you can't like that. You can't do anything about that now.
now yeah, now
Like
you can't.
there's
Now you
nothing.
can't. Yeah.
And now the landscape is different. Like, well, at the same time, nobody's been doing that for a long time. Like the last person I knew to do that was Rez. And she fucking the last person I knew who like
Interesting.
actually has a career now who was just like releasing every shit every day was Rez. Yeah, she released shit
Wow,
constantly.
I did not know that.
All the
Yeah,
time.
I didn't know that either.
That's some cool
Yeah.
lore. I didn't know.
But like nobody does that anymore.
No.
So maybe that's
And
the vibe to start bringing back. It's
it's-
just like, here's the shit I made today. It's dog shit. I'm
Yeah.
gonna make a new one tomorrow.
It's almost become
yeah.
like a. I feel like there was a phase. Do you guys know Russ, by chance? He's like a hip hop rapper guy
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
yeah. I knew what you're talking about.
He got super popular because he spent like 2 years just writing music, and then he set up some sort of system where he was like, every week I'm gonna release a song every day of this year, and it was at this like right time frame of the music industry where he just like got enough traction through SoundCloud. So he's like preaching this mentality of like, yeah, do this thing that I did because it
Right,
worked for me.
right.
And then now
That's not
I
how it works
see
now.
people doing that, and I even have a few homies that are doing that. And you look at their numbers, and like, it's definitely like you see some things happening, but like, I think it's almost more of like a diminishing return because now you just released 50 songs, and you're only getting this much. Like it's almost like it feels like gross in a way or something. Or maybe I'm
Everybody's-
projecting, but I don't know.
Everybody's strategy is going to be totally fucking different.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
totally
Like,
fine.
Not everybody's going to be an Eminem. Like, you didn't grow up in fucking Michigan in a trailer park or whatever and happen to go to this hip hop thing that happened to do this, to
Yeah,
that happened to
there's a
do
lot.
this. Like, there's so many variables. Like, it's almost at this point, you just try different things.
400 mile.
Right, 400 mile. You just try different things until you find something that like jives with you and also jives with everyone else, and you're
I
like,
agree.
I could sit here. Like I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah, like there's no blueprint in this business anymore. It's impossible.
Which is
Yeah.
sick though.
It is
'Cause
sick.
There's no blueprint.
Right, there's no blueprint.
rules.
There's literally, I mean, the best thing that I can say to anyone, I mean, and I'm talking from a guy who has no career at all, is just have a day job that pays the rent, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, if you're concerned, just find a day job, maybe something that works from home. You can just literally be in the studio all day. Like, just make sure that rent's taken care of, and then you can just fucking fuck around.
And you don't have to have that like pressure on your art where it has to be fucking something.
Because that fucking destroys every house DJ. You know who you are. That's in town. Because they're all like, oh, I have to DJ every show. I have to fucking be hustling. I have to like do this and that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you maybe just go work at Walgreens.
Dude, those guys have jobs.
A lot of them do, but a lot of them don't.
Too. Yeah, that's true.
A lot of them
jobs
don't.
too.
I think
They just need to get that crowd juice.
They just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got
Keep
my chains.
just keep. I mean, my thought, like, because every era changes, just keep trying shit. This is
Yeah.
what I
Correct.
feel is like the
Yeah.
rules don't apply. That's how I feel. Like, you might find something that works, but don't worry about the person next to you who's like, that's never going to work. You won't do that. Like, just keep trying shit. Keep making. And the other thing I think is like, you take advantage of the fact that the rules don't apply. Like, if you're creating, keep creating, and don't be limited by an idea. Don't be limited by a genre or something that's like, oh, my homie got famous because he did this thing. Like, just keep fucking making shit. And as long as you love it and you're inspired by stuff, like I'm continually breaking my own rules, and that's where I feel like I keep having success. I get stuck in a genre, or I get stuck in what worked for me before. And it's the same for somebody who's starting a career as somebody who is deep into their career, which is like, you get an idea about how things should work, and then it works differently. So just keep making shit that you think is cool, and don't let the rules like drown you. Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that, what I was going to say in relation to the question was stop high-passing your mixes, man. I hate it. I hate
Don't
it.
cut the 30 hertz and under type thing.
Yeah, I'm just like,
I
you're
agree.
adding a phase shift. Like, you can do linear phase, and that adds pre-ring, so now you got pre-ring on yourself. It's just, I'm not saying you can't do it, but I'm saying stop thinking that this is the way to make better mixes, because I've heard some amazing mixes that have DC offset through the whole thing. And I'm talking, there's 30 years worth of shit that has DC offset through the mix, and it sounds good.
Yeah.
It sounds nice. It sounds juicy. So don't just high pass everything below 20 hertz, because the human ear can't hear it. But it's like the phase shift through the spectrum. You can definitely hear that.
I like EPROM was saying he learned from someone, you do a 12 dB
12 dB
shelf.
Yes, shelving.
Shelf down 12 dB. Anytime
Don't
you
cut
think
it.
you want to cut
Boof
it.
it. I mean, shelf it. So that was funny.
Also, fun example, a super hyper popular pop song, Fireflies by Owl City.
Yeah.
Do you guys know that one?
Yeah.
Listen to the little plucky main thing. It sounds like it's DC offsetting every single pluck hit.
Oh, does it? It has like bass in it, like.
No, not even bass. It just sounds like it's the most gnarly fucking pluck for the cute little like synth he's using. And I never realized, like, you know, when I first listened when I was like 16 or whatever, and after getting like producer ears,
It's probably like literally operator.
dude, it's
be funny.
brutal.
Just with
It's
a
brutal.
immediate attack perfectly.
Oh,
What you got, Alex? You got anything for this?
Oh man.
if you don't, it's
Yeah,
fine
go on,
because I
go
kind
on.
of don't have one. But
Rip us a new one.
Sort of like, I don't really think any technique should be banned, but there's definitely some overused ones
Ooh.
that like I could call out. I don't know. Like, okay, there's a strategy that goes around in the bass music thing where it's like you've got your transients bus and then your fucking everything else bus that gets 100% sidechained.
Okay.
I'm calling out a few people on this, but like I think
I feel
it's
like I'm probably in this boat.
You're calling me
Actually,
out
I'm
right
down
now.
for it though. I'm down for it.
I think
your
it's-
mixes sound nice.
No, so like I think it's fine, but I think it's not the only way, and you don't have to be like. I think it's a black and white approach
Yeah.
to like a clean and like impactful mix. Like you can get,
everything gets sidechained in this one group, and then everything else doesn't
Yeah.
in the other group.
like
Type of a move.
yeah, like you can totally construct your thing in a way so that you don't just have to like cut everything that's not your kick drum.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I'm
love
just
that.
tired of hearing like massive pumps and like it's stylistically limiting. Like it's cool, like it's
I
cool.
see.
You
I
can
like
work
what
with
you're
it.
It is a style.
But
It's
you become
not
a slave
way
to the
do it.
style.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
was it that
like
was
that.
talking shit? Was it Skyja? Skyja's
that sounds
like,
right.
Skyja's like keeps bringing up sidechain as like, oh, you guys want to talk about sidechain, and then we're like, yeah, we do. What do you do for sidechain? And he's like, individually, I sidechain each
Manually.
channel.
Attaboy.
I'm like, bro, you're the most nerdy ass sidechainer of all of us. You're sidechaining every single channel.
was it Skycia?
That's insane.
It was either Skyshow or Render.
It wasn't render.
It wasn't Render. There must have been Skyshow.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember, but
I
yeah.
thought that was hilarious. Just like, bro,
I like it a lot.
you keep
Yeah.
bringing it up.
I mean,
I thought his move is sick, but like also like you're fucking doing it on every channel, and you're thinking we are obsessed with sidechain.
one of the
What are you talking
reasons
about? I put it on and I forget about it.
one of the reasons we started this podcast is I forget what the podcast is called, but there's this episode he has, and it only has like 10 or 12 episodes. The guy stopped for some reason, but he had a roundtable episode
Oh yeah,
where he had
TB.
Calix and TB, 12th
Yeah,
Dubstep
Planet,
legend.
yeah, absolute legend.
So crazy.
And a couple other guys. And one of the gimmicks for the pod is every guest he would bring on, he would have him bring like a beer that they liked and they would drink.
Oh, yeah.
So the thing with the round table is they were all fucking drunk. They were all drinking beer. And
we would never do
I
that.
would not.
But it was
do not
basically-
endorse that at all.
it was basically this with like a microphone in the middle, and they were just talking about random shit. And there was this moment where Calix and they were talking about side chaining, and Calix grabs the mic and he's like, I volume automate everything manually.
Oh.
and everyone's like, Jesus Christ! Like, just like, holy shit! And he's like, yeah, it's the only way to do it right. And you're like, it's fucking, he's got a
TB
point.
is the cockiest
Got a point.
motherfucker. He just
Got a
was,
fucking
he
point.
was like, we just work harder than everybody
Yeah, we just work
else.
fucking harder than everyone. So fuck you.
He says that as a flex. He's like,
yeah.
I did more for my track.
Yeah.
Like, get on my level.
I pay way more attention.
It's fair.
I love this topic because I like to think that every producer, okay, well, it probably isn't true, but it's an interesting thought to endorse, is that every producer puts the same amount of effort into production, but they apply it across a different area.
Oh, okay.
So for me, I actually really love that Alex brought up the sidechain thing, because I've been a big promoter of just sidechain everything except your drums for the most part. But the opposition is great, because I think I intentionally do that with the intention of like, I can apply my energy to a different area, or it gives me the ability to dumb something down that I don't want to think about. But Alex's mixes I've actually really admired for a long time. Like, he has some really clear, clean mixes without sidechain, and the whole like phase thing was like, I got invested in that because I was listening to Alex's mixes, and I was like, what the fuck are you like? Why does that sound so clear and textured with zero sidechain? Like or like maybe some like ring mod sidechain where it's very specific to the sound coming in, and it's just applied to another very specific sound. There is an intention to the placement, and that's like a field of creativity and a field of intention, where I think no matter where you are in the production space, is like, I like the idea that we're talking about banning techniques, because really the best idea to promote is like, there is no one perfect way to go about it. It's like, what actually sounds good, and how can we just like eradicate this like universal way of thinking, so we can go back to just like writing in a way that is specific to what we want to hear.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to doing sidechain on everything, but I love it when I hear a mix that I'm like, oh, that doesn't, like, how would I do that? That doesn't, like, I don't think with my setup, I don't think I could achieve that. And Alex was one of those guys to me where I was like, I'd hear it shouldn't be like, I don't know how that sounds like that.
It's fascinating too, because you were talking about how you came up in like the bro step era shit.
Yeah,
which is like
very sidechain.
Started that shit. So you almost
OTT
like
plus
internalize that to a degree. So
and there are tropes I love about that to this day.
Sure.
And there's ways to achieve that which I love.
Same.
But
yeah,
Same.
that is cool though.
Yeah.
Okay, can we? Or I don't know. Maybe we don't have to go. I want to learn more about your sidechain though. I'm so curious now.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll start by saying, like, yeah, I think I agree with Andre, though, about, like, it's about what you choose to invest in, and, like, Andre's, like, you know, he's got the sidechain style and then fucking, like, rocks it, like, makes it, like, swag so fucking hard. Like, it's really good.
It's very specific.
Whereas, say, my approach is more like, I don't know, like, I listen, like, I'm going for this very, just like an over-engineered kind of sound, I guess.
that's a reduction. I don't think it's over-engineered. I think it's perfectly engineered. Like, it's
that
is maybe just different values, like different.
It's perfectly engineered.
Yeah, the only way is to over-engineer. That's how I feel.
The only way to get a perfect engineer is
it definitely does not sound like perfect. It's like, but anyway, my approach on sidechaining. Okay, so like, so I guess there's a few things. Like, I think number one is you don't have to sidechain the whole thing. You can just duck a band like under 400 hertz or whatever.
For sure,
that's like number one thing you can do.
100% agree with that.
So like, for
You
instance,
better take
like,
notes, chat.
your chords are going. You're only gonna sidechain out like under 400.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah,
your
just keep
transient
the
will
top
come
stuff.
through pretty quick,
Yeah,
so
'cause
everything else can chill.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes
like,
sense.
all your stuff above 400, 500, whatever is not that loud anyway. Like, you can totally afford to sum that with your kick.
Right.
And then just clip it off and you'll get away with it.
Right.
I like that.
Or like fast limit or whatever.
Because the
I did that shit.
Munchen curve, like, those higher frequencies are going to sound a lot louder than they actually are.
Yeah.
So you don't technically have to sidechain them because they're not
You're gonna hear
actually
'em for
that
sure.
loud.
Yeah.
They're just perceptively that loud. It's the
Yeah.
math, the physicality.
Is Nick Ruse in the room with us?
And he's
We're
saying
channeling Nick
jazz.
Ruse.
Jazz.
I think like one other quick thing I wanted to mention about all that is like, I don't like really do any maximizing on my master really. Like I'm do like I have basically like a maximized bus and then like an open bus. So by the time the signal gets to the master does next to nothing. It's doing like 1 decibel of limiting.
Okay.
Or actually, if that, it's doing like maybe like 1 decibel of clipping or something.
Wait, so you have a pre-master that's pushed and then a pre-master that's not?
Yeah, in parallel.
In parallel.
So I might do something like I've got like my percussion bass and my bass, and then I slam that shit together.
Okay.
And then anything that's got like is background pads or like reverb tails and all that stuff
I do the same thing.
doesn't get slammed. It's like it's parallel with the heavy stuff.
Right, but isn't getting like destroyed because it's just not nearly as
Yeah,
loud.
like if I've got like a nice general tail, I want it to like, you know, descend and like naturally. I don't want it to get all warped by like my 7 decibels
squashed
of
and
master
shit.
compression
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something. Yeah, so if you've got that like the heavy channel and everything else that's like really quiet, then you can just like lightly put that stuff on top, and then like your clipper or fast limiter might take care of the rest. And it's doing next to nothing, like right at the end. You get a much cleaner result with no like pumping and warping and stuff.
Fuck yes.
That's so sick, dude. I want to see one of your projects.
Yes, that's
I
what
want
I'm
to see
talking
this so
about.
bad. That's so cool. Let's go.
That is.
I mean, if you lasted this long in the podcast, like props, and you win.
Yeah, folks.
They're getting to
you
hear
100%
that.
win.
We got a reserved version of Alex, honestly. He's got a... I don't know, I've been picking his brain for ages and I'm always learning shit.
You've also been
Yeah.
on a plane for 20 hours and then you come straight to
we
some news.
got Alex Light.
I haven't slept in 30 hours.
That's ridiculous. How long are you in town?
That's fair.
1 month. Been here since like 3 p.m.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
So
If you're down, we'd love to have you on again.
sure.
Tomorrow.
As like
When you
more of a chill, you know, like after you've had time to chill.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, it can be the two of you again, but if you want, you can sit in the referee slot, you know.
we can
as
figure it
opposed
out
to here.
later.
Yeah,
See.
But
Yeah, why not?
that's fun.
we might as well save the last question for next episode.
'Kay.
Because we've already been doing this for like
Teaser.
2
Also,
hours.
not that you were like did anything wrong with like. I don't want you to. We're not inviting you on again to be like
No.
talk even more.
No,
but,
I wanted
like,
to come on to
I
talk
don't
even
want it
more.
to come off as like.
I love the idea of a correctional podcast. Like, this guy fucked up and we're giving him another
Listen,
chance.
we need a rebuttal.
You did
we need a
not
rebuttal
talk
podcast.
enough, so you're gonna need to come back on.
No,
But actually,
no.
that is how I feel.
want to pick your brain more.
I do want to hear more.
Just hearing the way you thought through those two chains is kind of like a thing I've been coming to. My soft chain is kind of the side chain. Like that's the whole group that gets side chained.
You're getting him bricked.
Yeah, you
essentially.
get me bricked. But
That's what he's been coming to.
So they make
and going. But I multi-band, so it's really only, it's like 1K and below, but it's only 1K to like 200, and then 200 and below gets its own different, slightly faster, depending if it's the kick or the snare. Like they both are like so specialized to the point where the sidechain is transparent as fucking possible.
Yep.
Like, and depending if it needs a moment of creative sidechain, like you know, then there's like a third one that gets automated on or what have you.
Totally
But,
on board for that.
Yeah, fucking 100%. Yeah, this was great. This was so much fun, guys.
I'm bricked up.
I'm bricked up right now. This is
Bricked
great.
up, boys.
And our fish
super
are
fun.
probably
Thanks for coming,
annoyed as fuck
everybody.
because it's still daylight for them. They're
like,
like,
why is
what
it still the
fuck?
daytime?
Why is it still so
The
bright?
sun is still not going down.
Guys, because we're bricked
This-
up in the studio.
Well, I'm making
This
eye
was-
contact with one of your fish right now. He's like, bruh.
Yeah, is it the big boys?
Big
He big and
boy.
blue?
He's looking at
Yeah,
me like
he
I have
loves-
information for
He
him.
loves making
I'm just a
He
guest.
loves
I'm
making
sorry.
eye contact. He loves it.
This was the longest episode we've ever done.
Maybe. It's pretty
no,
long.
100%. This
Yeah.
was the longest one. Thank you guys for
What- I don't even know
sticking
what
through
we're
this.
Is that a congratulations or an apology? I haven't
A little bit of both, honestly. It was
Quick
supposed to be an hour. Thank you for hanging. I'm sorry we made you hang out for 9 hours.
Apolulations. There's a smack.
Quick shout out to. How the fuck do you spell that? 5 Martian?
Oh, 5MEO Martian.
Oh, 5MEO Martian. Okay.
Oh.
I was like, that took
Yeah.
me so
That did
long to
sick.
figure out. Okay.
Zenon.
Shout out.
Zenon. Yeah, shout
And
out
then
Zenon.
Also, shout out Elamira. for
out
the
to
follower.
Elamira.
Elamira. The Elamira.
Nice.
And
Everybody
condolences to John that he
Yeah.
can't do a Patreon anymore.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You had
Yeah.
your moment. You missed
Sorry,
it.
homie.
You didn't know
yeah.
a thing.
Because there's no modulators in freeform page.
Everybody go
in the
check out.
You did not know one thing.
Everyone go
Poor
check out
guy.
Copycat's Patreon. There's a bunch
Yep.
of cool shit.
Thank you.
Do you wanna plug
Extra
some shit?
dollop.
You got any
Extra
releases
dollop.
coming? You got any shows?
Extra
Just plug
Dollop.
all of your
Extra
existing
Dollop.
platforms and stick it to Hugh, I reckon.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I've got a few tunes out as Extra Dollop, which, yeah, people can
They're
listen to if they
sick.
want, but I'm going to be changing name like this month, so
Oh.
I need to announce that soon.
Yeah, we
Haven't
can talk
done
about that
anything
story
yet.
on the next episode.
It's Alex.
Yeah.
It's out.
Just Alex.
Well, can I also be like assumptive and interject that he also went by Tide and had stuff on Noisier Radio? That was a D&B
what?
specific.
Tide?
I am tired from
What
a
the
long time
fuck?
ago.
Man's got his fingers in
earlier.
a few pies.
You were playing
I was
Tide?
playing Tide earlier too. Yeah.
Wait, today?
Christ.
There's got to be a few
You sent
tides.
it to me.
That blows
Oh,
my
yeah.
mind.
Well,
Oh, one of the
yeah.
ones you sent. Okay.
Never heard anything
Holy
like it.
shit.
It's the best thing we've ever heard.
Greatest thing I've ever heard.
Yo, did you guys hear him drop an
Drum and
F-bomb
bass.
today?
Yeah, I
watched it
kind
this
of enamored,
morning.
honestly.
Did
I
he?
thought, you know what,
I mean,
swore it was funny.
The
Just
president
comedic value.
with no tie on, dropping an F-bomb in the West Lawn.
He was about to get in a helicopter.
Son, I know.
It was kind
And
of swag. Just
Did
a
you
little
see
bit.
the walk to the helicopter? He's kind of like, whatever.
He just left a bunch of people with cameras and microphones behind him. It was like, they don't give a...
It's
Well, he didn't
ridiculous.
say they don't give a... You know, it was
But
reduction.
holy shit, dude.
Politics.
I didn't know that. You were tied. That blows my mind. Sick. Shout out.
Now he's actually bricked up. And he's about to fanboy
Dude.
after the pod.
I mean, drum and bass production is always the most fun.
Mm.
It's the most fun for me. It's fast. So you have to be like... Yeah, you got to figure out a bunch of shit, and there's a bunch
Wait,
of
who
weird
just made that
tricks.
sound?
It was
one of
in
the
the
fish.
post-processing. I don't know. I just...
Um,
We were hearing Caleb being bricked up. That was the sound.
Yep, that was the sound.
It's like bugs growing.
Folks, we'll see you guys next week.
Love you.
Bye, everyone.
Go
It was fun.
follow and subscribe to everyone
Be
here.
generous.
We'll see you guys next week.
Go blow stuff up.
Bye.
High noon.